A long, long time ago. We got a countdown. A long, long time ago, in a galaxy far away, Naboo was under attack. And I thought me and Qui-Gon Jinn could talk the Federation in to maybe cutting them a little slack. But their response, it didn't thrill us. They locked the doors and tried to kill us. We escaped from that gas, then met Jar Jar and Boss Nass. We took a bongo from the scene and went to Thee to see the Queen. We all wound up on Tatooine. That's where we found this boy. Oh my, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry. He left his home and kissed his mummy goodbye, saying, soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. Soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. Oh, hello, man babies. How about that? By special request, a little bit of Weird Al Yankovic there. Hope you enjoyed that one. I thought it was never going to end. So good to see you all. It's Wednesday. We're back again for a bit of Ahsoka. I've got my rum and coke at the ready. I've got my favourite comfy pants on, and I'm ready to roast the shit out of this one. And I'm slightly concerned that some people were giving this episode a little bit of praise. I'm not quite sure what they were praising. Maybe it was the Game of Thrones credits or I don't know what, but we will get into it. And I have got some excellent retrobates to see us through it. And I can see you all in the chat. We've got all my favorite man babies in the chat there as well. So here we go. We're getting well into the this season. We're up to episode 4 tonight, and yes, I interested to know what you all thought of it. But before we start interacting with the chat, we're going to get the retrobates out. And first up, from oh no, I can't do the intro before I do all the legal disclaimers, otherwise we'll get our arses sued. So today is Wednesday, 6th of September. We're sweating our balls off in England. It's mid-20s. I'm Ruin Johnson, obviously, and on this evening stream, we're talking Ahsoka. Before we begin, you find us on YouTube, you find us on Spotify, links are in the description. Like, thumbs up, ring the bell. Get your Liam Neeson dong out and helicopter it round the room. Apparently, it all helps. If you've not shut down for the evening, let's get the retrobates out. From a VPN, far, far away. He's the golden reach around droid of choice. He is the man with the knowledge. It's the android with the android with the heteroids. It's Zee-ThreePIO.
Good afternoon, evening, morning, Master Ruin. I've got no idea where I am. Please make it stop. It hurts my head.
I know, and we really are suffering, aren't we, Z? As you once coined the line, it's our lot in life to suffer. Are you suffering in this extreme heat?
No, I'm suffering due to your singing, sir.
Okay, well, I don't blame you there. Even the dog ran out the room when I started hitting the chorus there. Z, I'd like you to sum up your feelings on tonight's episode in 2 words. No more, no less. Always 2 there are.
Bull and shit.
Bullshit. There we go. But he's spacing them out to make them 2 words. Okay, well, that indicates Z's approach for this evening. Thank you, Z. Shall we see what other retrobates we've got lurking, like some weirdos.
Drag
I-
one in here, kicking and screaming, sir.
Okay, let's see who we've got then. So next up, he is the man with the keys to the channel. He is the man I like to call the Yorkshire Ripper. And he did let one rip in the green room before we came on air. He is the 50-year-old virgin. It's the man who has the best Wednesday night YouTube channel anywhere in North Yorkshire. It's your favourite lycra crad, Mr. Brown.
Clanking. Grunting. Swooshing. Arousal.
Oh, God, you're really getting into this ASMR thing. Aren't
Hello, Ruin, you big destroyer of dreams.
Brown,
Of
it
hopes.
it could just be me.
Of
Maybe Z will clarify.
aspirations.
You are incredibly loud, Brown. I don't know.
Am I?
Z, is it just me?
Hello.
Yes, distorting all over the place.
Oh,
Really?
Brownie.
Oh,
It's
I'm
not
going
like
to
you,
log
Brown.
off.
Yep, you're not so bad
Oh,
now.
bye.
It was like ASMR, but it was like
Oh,
I don't know,
yes.
nuclear ASMR. If that
Is that
makes sense.
better?
That's better. Thank you. I don't know what you were
Okay,
doing
perhaps
there.
I'll stop shouting. Good evening, everybody. Good evening,
evening.
chats. Good evening, panelists. Good evening, host.
Good evening, Mr. B. And your challenge, Mr. B.
Oh,
Did
no.
you forget vibrating, as R2 says? That was one.
Vibrating. Oh, yes, vibrating.
Your challenge, Mr. B, is to sum up your thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and anything else you'd like to roll into that in no more, no less than 4 words.
Of the episode, yes.
Hmm.
Oh, this could. Oh, decidedly less average today.
He's thrown today on the end. That really tested you, that Brown, didn't
It
you?
did. My brain just, the gears didn't quite engage. Sorry, folks.
It's
been a long
okay.
day doing these slides.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Well, you got there. Don't worry. You started strong, but yeah, you was
No,
scrabbling.
you should always finish strong.
Well,
moving on.
Yeah. And that Viagra wears off, it's sometimes not possible. Anyway, we have 108 man babies joining us already, which is fantastic. But we can't do this just the 3 of us. We need at least one more retrobate.
The man.
Shall we see who else is getting limbered up in the green room?
Yeah, you know it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do this damn thing. Okay, next up, he is... Now, he's going to feel disappointed, but you should never feel disappointed if you're in the top 10 of anything. He is in the top 10 ASMR artists in the category Young, Posh and Twink.
He's dropped out of the top 5 then.
He's dropped out of the top 5.
Oh.
But look, he's in the top 10. Let's look at the glass half full here. Let's not, he might have already left the green room at that news. But anyway.
He's not going to be happy.
I know, but Brown, when you've got such fantastic ASMR voices like your own, it's hard to stay in such a lofty position. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. Here's the man I like to call the Dark Sith Lord Chord. It's Little Platoon. Get him out here. Hello, Little Platoon.
I was going to say good evening, but apparently I've been knocked down out of the top 3 from last week, so it's not particularly good. Also, top 10 can be shit. If Manchester City went from 1st in the Premier League to 10th, they would be pretty pissed off. So I think I have every right to be annoyed at that.
Yeah, I know. I suppose if you're in the top 10 best Disney Star Wars outputs, then it's probably not much of a compliment either. But lovely avatar. You've got the full cat going on there. Very nice, Geordie.
Retard cat.
Oh, Geordie, I can't let you get away with this one. I'd like, and I'm expecting big things from you here. I'd like you to sum up your thoughts to tonight's episode in no more, no less than 9 words.
I was going to do. I mean, do hyphenated words count as 1 or 2? Okay, if it's 9 words, I can do it pretty easily.
Okay.
Bullshit, and I wish it was better.
that, folks, that's
Just run
how
with
you
it, run with
deliver
it,
an
yeah,
answer,
yeah.
not stumbling over 4 words like Mr. Brown. It's he always delivers, does Geordie. Okay, we're all here. We've got our gang. We've got a couple of absentees this week, so we say rest in peace to Brian, to Swappers, and to some of the others who've joined us over the weeks. But we've got our hardcore team to take you through episode 4 of Ahsoka. It's kind of a alarmingly ready diarrhea brown background, white text, too small, can't read it.
Subscribe.
He's
That's it.
attempted to put a shadow on the white text, doesn't help a fucking jot. It's still unreadable, but you know what to do by now, folks.
Very
So
professional.
it does look a little
folks.
bit like if you're watching something that's 3D, but you don't have the glasses on.
Yeah, it's. I mean, honestly, it's getting smaller every week to me. It's, there's the poster. There's the chick, Ahsoka. You can't see it, but she's got her arms folded. If you were to zoom out from that view, and I think we should get into this damn thing, Brownie. What do you say?
Yes. A
Have I
certain
missed anything?
person. No, perfect. A
Oh.
certain person. Hello, chat. By the way, hello, chat.
Hello,
we can
chat.
see you. A certain person would like or would love to do the recap.
Oh, really? I would love someone to do the recap. Well, Brownie, I think you should tee them up.
It's teed up. Z, are you ready, my friend?
Yes.
I am.
It's
Are
my
you
favorite
ready?
part.
Here we go. Golden balls in space. After retrieving the map to Grand Admiral Thrawn and compatriot Ezra Bridger, unemployed Mandalorian cat lady Sabine Wren disobeys a direct order and promptly loses the map to Dathomirian Night sister Morgan Elsbeth and her cohorts. As our heroes track them down, they take on heavy damage as they scan a mysterious giant hyperspace cock ring in space and are forced to land on the surface to initiate repairs. With their enemies closing in, will Sabine and her traveling Mary Sue Ahsoka Tano be able to stop this onslaught? Will Jedi outcast Shin Hati ever blink? And will Ray Stevenson stop owning every single scene he's in?
No.
That was all
Fabulous.
brilliant, except for some reason there's a hyphen in cohort in the previous slide.
Oh, yeah, that was me. Sorry, I didn't know. Sorry. I'm
That's
just
all
thick.
right.
I'm from up north, you see.
No, the rest of it's very good.
Lot
Sorry,
of love,
Z, I
lot of
over-
love for the
yeah,
recaps
yeah.
here, Brown. I mean, it really is one of the highlights of the week. Brownie,
Should we-
our ever generous chat
Yes.
are absolutely stuffing your knickers full of coinage. So, do you want to
Shall we
rattle
go through
through?
them?
Yeah, we absolutely should. Yeah.
Okay. Nikki Rellahan. Oh,
Oh,
hi.
Nikki Rellahan.
Hi, Nikki.
Oh,
For
you're getting full
five-
ASMR. Go on, Brown. Give them the full treatment.
Oh, £5. Real money, folks.
Yeah. Ooh,
Don't
yeah.
blame Brownie for being late. It's easy to get lost in an empty room. Okay.
Ooh, it's a backhanded compliment, isn't it?
Z, are you available for this one, please?
Ran out of channel names for $5 says...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What happened there?
What?
Mic issues.
What happened there? Is
You,
all-
you,
is it
you
working?
exploded very, very briefly.
Okay.
Hang on, before we all piss Z off, if we lose him, we are literally fucked. No one knows what's going on in this show. So Z, you go as crazy as you want, my friend. He's gone.
Ran out of channel names for $5. I need to know which episode of Rebels explains the sapient father dressed as a...
Cringe Lord.
No idea.
Cringe Lord. Hmm.
Is this run out of channel names for $2? Fart. Asterisk.
That's worth $2 of anyone's money. That.
I thought that you'd misspelled the word father, and so you were clarifying that you meant father without the R as in dad, as opposed to I went father. But no, the clarification is that the H, the E, and the R are completely irrelevant. It was fart, not father. The sapient fart dressed as a cringe lord. That's a band name.
Okay, so
How's my mic now?
Oh, you're like
That's it.
beautiful.
ran out of channel names for $5. I need to know which episode of Rebels explains the sapient fart dressed as a cringe lord. Is that better?
I still can't answer the question, but it's, I assume, a good one.
Waylon Cephas is not taking the piss, by the way. For $2, Muncher, what? Makuchi or Amanda Ungingis.
I'm going to be honest.
I don't know.
I feel way more drunk than I really am, because these super chats, I feel like I'm seeing words, but none of them are making sense. Are you on the wind up, Waylon? And who's the other one? Ran out of channel names. Someone's trying to absolutely throw us early doors.
I think Amanda Hug and Kiss makes sense.
Right. Who's that?
No, it's as in a man to hug and kiss.
He's playing
very
semantics.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then Munch and Makuchi is, I'm assuming, a euphemism.
Waylon, we're going to need a follow up. No need to super chat. Just give us a follow up, would you please, sir? And, you're on a different level to us, Waylon.
I think he's bringing his A game tonight. Black lives or black votes for $2. Drink any time there's a member beras.
Oh, and it's actually a very good point, Black Lives. We need to establish the rules of the drinking game, and obviously all the retrobates on the panel get to choose, and we'll take submissions from the chat as well. So go on, Brownie. What would you like to instigate as your rule of choice?
I could go with the easy ones, like arms folded, but I'm gonna go with something X-wing fighters.
Okay. Whenever we see one, or
I remember X-wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if, for example, there's a scene where we've seen 6 of them on screen at the same time, is that 6 shots?
6 chugs. 6 fingers.
I will leave it to your discretion.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
2 shots per X-wing.
Tonight. I'm not drinking tonight, by the way. So, yeah, you go for 6 shots.
Wow. Chordy, what say you? What would you like to establish?
Every time somebody has a gun and should use it but doesn't, or has a gun and decides that the best thing to do with it is punch someone with it, which will actually happen a surprising number of times. Yeah, do it then.
Nice choice. What about the Z-ster?
Every time there's a verified member berry.
I remember.
Yes. I'll go for maybe hard to capture in a still shot, but anytime there's an unnecessary pause, this entire series and every episode, it feels like they could be edited down. We were talking, weren't we, Brownie, in the green room?
Yes.
It feels like every scene's just drawn out. It's just extended stirs and blurs.
There's a moment we'll get to. It's unbelievable.
Excellent. Well, whenever we
If you
get to
want
one
to
of
make it
those,
really, really savage, it's drink for the duration of the unnecessary pause.
Well, yeah, you're going to need your yard of ale for that one. Excellent work. Does that wrap us up on the super chats?
Well, now we've got some massive news, hot off the press. I was about this. Lord, are you available? Because I feel the intelligence needs to be rewarded with an even greater intelligence.
Les, I don't have a postgraduate thesis. Actually, no, that's not true. I do. Anyway, Iceman for €5 submitted my postgraduate thesis for review today. Soon I'll be Dr. Iceman. Congratulations!
Congrats!
Long and horrible business, but I imagine it's quite a relief getting it out of the way.
He was celebrating today as well. He had a doner kebab. Get him.
Iceman, I'm so happy for you. I can't wait for that moment you're on a plane and someone
mate.
starts having a heart attack and they shout out, "Is there a doctor on the plane?" And you leap up and then you suddenly realize you're a fucking doctor in, Scientology or whatever it is you study. So, but no, in all seriousness,
luck, mate.
congratulations, my friend. Yes,
Good luck.
something to celebrate. Okay,
Can I just address the super chat?
Absolutely.
It wasn't an episode of Rebels. It was several episodes of the Clone Wars. Episodes 12, 13, and 14 of season 3 were introduced to the Night Sisters and the Witches of Dathomir. And the Lawless, which is season 5, episode 16, where Savage Opress, Darth Maul's brother, is killed and is offed in the same fashion as Marok is, which leads me to believe that Marok is in fact a Dathomirian.
And not to spoil anything, but is that why he explodes in a bunch of green gas?
Yes.
Which is not the answer. All the predictions for who the guy in the mask was. Yeah, we'll get those rewarded later on.
Well, that being said, it's when he's dispatched in that manner, it's not impossible to come back. It is just his essence, essentially, which leads me to believe that it may be Darth Maul. As,
what?
Sam Witwer, who voiced him in the Clone Wars, is credited in the series.
Oh, God. We've had I would say a clarification from Waylon, but I'm not sure it is. He just says, "A man to hug and kiss or much on my coochie."
Yeah, so I was right.
It does make sense to you, does it, Lord?
Yeah.
Okay. Well done, Waylon. Thank you for that. Here we go then, Lucasfilm logo. Oh, I don't know. I would like to throw one more in for the drinking game. Every time a lightsaber, previously shown to be completely ineffective to human flesh, but every time a lightsaber does some actual damage, which it seems to do a lot in this episode. We see it cutting trees in half and slicing
melting
through
rocks.
Yeah. Oh, it can damage, incredibly strong materials, stick it through a human belly. No problem. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Because it was all those people who said, "Oh no, it's fine because it's a non-lethal wound. She was stabbed in the wrong place and it wasn't in her for long enough." And then in this episode, as if to just F in the chat for those people, there's a bit where a lightsaber gets stabbed through something and eventually the heat makes it explode. So if it does it to solid metal objects, I don't think your body's going to survive it much either.
I mean, not to get bogged down in the effectiveness of a lightsaber. We have seen lightsabers go through blast doors. Remember Qui-Gon kind of, carving his way through a blast door? Honestly, it's a fucking piss take, and anyone who rolls with this shit needs the head seeing too. Anyway, Brian's in the chat. Hello, Brian, and hello to all the rest of you, man babies. We see you all. So here we go.
Yeah,
We're
25
into
minutes in, and we've got the opening scene.
Yeah, I know. One retrobate
for
less,
us.
but so we are in a cockpit, and we've got a droid on his arse doing some work. Have you ever been prostate in this position, Z?
Oh, many times, sir. I have a knack for it now. Just lube up and in you pop.
And he's fixing something here, isn't he? And I can't quite remember how he phrased it, but it's if I can repurpose the wires for the spare hyperdrive, maybe I can do some fuckery and exposition.
Yeah,
Does
there was
anyone
spot
remember?
welding for some reason.
Yeah. What is he trying to fix? Anyone?
He's trying to cannibalize something to fix the transmitter or something.
Yeah, need to get the communications back up and running because they can't contact the fleet yet.
Yeah. That is correct. We're trying to get the communication because they're stranded, aren't they, on this bizarre.
They're stranded in this belly of this asteroid creature.
Observation from our very own, not Brian, in the chat. Is Brian still rocking his RoboCop there?
He's
come on, get the cat on, Brian. What's going on? Better than Friday Night Tights when they didn't let Chordy speak till 23 minutes.
To be fair, there were about 9 people to introduce. So.
I thought it was about 30 minutes, but there you go.
No, that's disgraceful. How can you not get the Chordy and disgraceful. So then we get this bitch with her face like a slapped horse. Is anyone warming to her? Is she doing anything to warm us up, or she really is insufferable, isn't she?
Oh, I can't abide the woman. She's completely useless. She's useless as a friend. You can't trust her. She never obeys orders.
She's a crap fighter as well for a Mandalorian. You'd think she might have some wits about her, but she doesn't.
Did you see her use a jetpack once?
No.
No.
I did
Shut
see
up one on.
I did see her punch someone with a pistol, though, so that was... I made up for it.
Oh, God, the wands are coming in. Please. Please, put your wands away, Mamba. He's... hang on. This... Maxoka is
fucking cat on his head.
Brilliant. We've got a couple more super chats here. And one of them is a question for the retrobates. So let me get back to it. So they're on fire in the chat tonight. Here we go from Wolfsbane, who says, for the panel, who's y'all? Hang on, we got to do. Hang on a second. I'm detecting an accent could be appropriate here. We are severely lacking in the accent department, but I always like to put a challenge to Mr. Brown.
Oh, no.
Brown, have you got a Southern American accent, as in the South part of USA, not Brazilian or something like that? Give me your best Texan, Brown.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Texan.
Go on then. Go on, please help me.
I want you to do it, Brown.
For the panel, y'all.
Start with howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah.
For the panel, y'all. Who's your favourite female? I nearly went to Jamaican. I can't do it.
It's plainly obvious you can't do it.
We're going to be here all night. I'm just going to pile into it.
Oh, go on.
For the panel, who's y'all? Oh, there you go. Who's y'all favourite female Star Wars character other than Princess Leia? This includes anyone from the EU minds, either Darth Talon.
I feel like there was more to come. So tell us who the other one is, Wolfsbane, because when you throw an either in, it sounds like you may have another choice. Darth Talon, excellent choice, though. She has got a superb visual about her. Go on then, Brown. Who's your favourite? All-time favourite, not Princess Leia.
Well, I don't know any characters off the top of my head, but I'll say the hottie, the MILF from Obi-Wan. You know, the is it Indira Varma?
Oh wow! Okay,
the one who died. The one who died with
Sand, yeah.
The one who died at Calculon with Calculon, yeah.
You pulled that right out your arse, didn't you? Well done.
I did. She's hot though.
Z, I'm assuming it's going to be some kind of female droid for you.
Well, to be honest, it was Ahsoka Tano.
Oh no!
until about today. I've got multiple Ahsoka action figures.
Oh
I kid you not.
Are you heartbroken?
Yeah, she doesn't do anal. So I'm going to go with Aunt Beru.
You're going to go Aunt Beru, okay.
Drink, everybody. Just a drink. Just take a drink.
Just take a drink for that. Chordy, what about you, sir? What's your favourite female?
Aunt Beru doing anal out of my head now.
Timing, everybody.
Timing. I'm going to go just because she pops up a few times in my Mando Part 2 video, so I'm going to go with Kreia because she taught me to hate charity. And she's just generally based. So, yeah, Kreia.
Interesting. I'm going to go with... look, she's not the most compelling... No, my serious answer would be Jin Erso, just because I love Rogue One so much, and it's just so much fucking better than any bullshit we've had from Disney. But my real answer is obviously Mary Sue. She's the bestest. She's so wonderful and beautiful, and she can do anything she wants. And even when she's got that bead of sweat running down her giant forehead, I just love her. So I hope you got your value for your $5 there, Wolfsbane. We really give that a good pondering.
I'm
Here we go.
absolutely shocked that nobody picked Rose Tico.
Oh, well,
What about Admiral Holdo? She pulled off a 1 in a million move.
Oh God. Well, go on, Lordy. Give us your dulcet tones on this one, if you would.
Wayland Berserkers for $4.99. Filoni ruined the OG Clone Wars EU by scrapping it for his cheap knockoff with terrible retcons that made the EU a mess. He is cancer on Star Wars.
Brutal. And Wolfsbane follows up. He says, Aura Singh or Darth Zana. He has
Aura
a type.
Singh.
Aura Singh is Aura. Apparently he has a type. He likes. They all bad guys, are they? Darth Talon is. Darth Zana is. I don't know about Aura Singh.
Yeah, Aura Singh's a bounty hunter.
Oh, he likes her.
Oh.
I reckon Wolfsbane. I picture the kind of woman you're into, Wolfsbane. There's nothing wrong with that, my friend. Anyway, as much as we'd love to talk hot
Half an
toddy
hour,
in
not
Star
bad.
Wars, yeah, let's
31
get
minutes.
to the next slide. And indeed, you're right, Brown. The cannibalizing wiring from the secondary motivator, whatever the fuck that is.
I remember motivators.
Take a damn drink.
I thought motivators were a droid thing.
Yeah.
It's the original little red astromech that Uncle Owen originally buys, and it has a bad motivator. And you can understand, like, just from the name motivator, that it might have something to do with the droid's behavior, but I don't know what a motivator is doing on a ship.
Yeah, it feels like they just throw this shit in whenever they just need to,
remember.
refer to some kind of technology, isn't it? I mean, it's yeah. But we glossed past it, and we found out the comms are still down. Power converters offline. They're in a bit of a sticky situation. They're not going anywhere. They're stuck on this clearing in the
Asteroid.
forest.
Yeah.
And get ready with the drinks, man, babies. We
Oh.
get Ahsoka on screen, and I was wondering. I was sat down today. Nice sunny day outside, and I'm sat in the house watching this fucking terrible show, but I have to do it for you people. And I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I'm taking the piss a little bit. She doesn't always fold her arms, and literally within about 5 seconds of being on screen, she
Bang.
gives us the old folded arms. So there we go. So take a drink, by the way. It's coming any moment now. But yes, they're stuck, aren't they? They can't send distress signal. They're not going anywhere. It's not looking good. Only 2 women would get themselves in this stupid ass situation. Is that a little bit misogynist of me? I don't know.
Pass.
Huang.
See, I want to know, it's been, well, I don't really remember the previous episode because I can't be asked to rewatch it, but he was unconscious, wasn't he, for most of their descent to the planet? And then he woke up pretty much right at the end and missed everything. How did he figure out where the base is and that there was a base on the planet to begin with?
He didn't.
Maybe he plugged himself into the motivator and he downloaded all the information from the hyperdrive. I mean,
bypass the compressor.
There you go. And we got a little chat from Swappers. I'll tell you what. In homage to our old mate Swappers, I will do this in the style. I'll do my best to do it in the style of Darth Kipling's. Here we go. There we go. Swap Shop in the chat says, I haven't got a fucking clue what you're all talking about. East Midlands trains Wi-Fi is garbage. I can only see the chat. There we go. Swappers absolutely butchered that, but I did my best. There's the arms fold, everyone. There's the arms fold. Take a big drink, you bunch of man babies.
What's everybody drinking tonight, by the way?
Yep, please do share. Ruins on the old rum, as always. Getting a bit low, Mr. Brown. I may have to call in that debt you've been
Yes.
promising. Anyone else joining me tonight? Z, you on the strong stuff?
I'm not tonight. I'm
No.
just on the regular lube.
Lordy, Lordy, I picture you with reclining in a Chesterfield leather oxblood leather sofa with maybe what's the drink I'm thinking of? An old fashioned in your hand.
Cognac.
Am I picturing you right?
Not as right as I would like it to be, sadly. But but no, my chair is more like the chair that Picard sits in. So it's a very Star Trek-y chair, and it has like an arm for a keyboard on it, and it has an arm for a mouse thingy. It's pretty cool, but it's not as classy as the old armchair. And I am on Johnny Walker Black Label with a side order of paracetamol. It's the Platoon special.
Well, you might need to take the entire contents of that paracetamol tub because don't do that, folks. Seriously, just joking.
No, bad
obviously.
idea.
But it would take the edge off this damn show. Biker X says, I hope Ahsoka gets her arms chopped off at some point so she can't foul them anymore. that would be funny, wouldn't it? So our heroes we're meant to give a shit. Apparently they're stuck. They don't have the map, and yeah, they're struggling.
So they're setting, it's the difficult choice that they've been setting up. Because I think I said, it was episode 2 when I said like what they really should have done from the beginning was portray this as an actual moral disagreement between the two of them, with Ahsoka being zero-eyed on finding Thrawn, and Sabine being much more keen on finding Ezra, and actually introducing that conflict very early on. Because they didn't do that, this choice that they're now presented with doesn't feel very much at all. Essentially, Ahsoka is saying, well, if we can't go and find Ezra, then no one should be able to do it, so we might have to not. And obviously that's going to cause Sabine later on to say, oh, well, but I really want to find Ezra, so we're going to have to go and do it anyway, even if it means betraying my friends and everything I stand for and risking a second war. That would have been more forgivable. I don't think it ever would have been properly forgivable, but if they'd actually trailed it in advance over the course of the last 3 episodes, it would have been much better than the one we actually get. Instead, we just get introduction of it here for the first time, and then long brooding stare as is the series meta, basically.
Oh, take a drink.
And somehow they've retconned in some sort of attraction between Sabine and Ezra, which there never was. They were colleagues, nothing more than that. But the way she pines for him, you think she'd lost a lover, which they never were.
True. Well, only a matter of time, maybe. No swappers, we haven't figured out why she's got a cat on her head, but I think that's the final episode reveal, isn't it? I think she takes it off to reveal that she's rocking a skullet under there. She's got the full, orange slap head, but she's got this kind of greasy hair around the sides. I believe that's what they're teasing. But anyway, before you all get excited, we'll get back to the whatever semblance of a plot is going on. So have we just moved on from the fact now that Ezra's dead? I mean, everyone's just basically talking about him like he's still alive.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't there? Because there's a bit of a leap of the imagination to assume that he's still alive to begin with. But then the same thing could be pointed out of Thrawn as well, because it's apparently been several years since they disappeared. We know nothing about where they went. We know nothing about what they got up to while they were there. So they're both sides are making the assumption that, yes, our respective messiahs are very much still alive, or at least could be brought back, hence messiahs. But it's still, I don't know if it's a bit of a reach, I think, from their own perspective.
I think it's been about 9 years, but, people maintain their faith for very long periods. Just see Madeleine McCann.
Jesus.
Brutal.
Fucking hell.
Absolutely brutal.
Jesus.
Too soon.
When is the Madeleine McCann 12-hour stream, Brownie?
Probably about 17 years' time, perhaps. Earliest I could probably schedule.
Are you going to get it
one.
on, do you think?
Moving on.
Okay.
How is she doing in your basement these days, anyway?
How dare you call me Mr. Fritzl?
Brownie looks remarkably like the, they did that photo fit of the man. We are getting bogged down in a dark place here.
4-hour stream, everybody. Buckle up.
No chance. Anyway, these two bitches are still fucking banging on about something. I really zoned out at this point. So take a drink.
They're this is foreshadowing the betrayal, isn't it?
Yes. And it's foreshadowing it at the last available moment to do so as well, because it has to happen in this episode. And they haven't teased it yet, so they have to really just cram it in very overtly at the beginning just to in any way justify what happens next. It doesn't justify it, but that's their thinking, I think. It's just like, oh shit, we haven't done anything to substantiate this yet.
She's basically saying, you're trustworthy. Yes, I am, blah, 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 and all that. It's like it's going to be the negative of the betrayal that's coming on later. We're all thinking that she's going to be trustworthy.
No, don't trust her with everything. Don't trust her with your balls. Don't trust her with anything at all. It's like trusting Cartman. Oh, look, they said the words. Heir to the Empire.
Thrawn.
Yeah, no, so yeah. I remember.
I remember. That's Timothy Zahn not getting any royalties.
I remember.
No chance.
I remember.
Take a drink for the member.
Almost certainly just for the trailers as well, because there's no actual reason to include that little qualifier in the dialogue. They both know who Thrawn is. So
thoughtful music playing. We always like to, kind of give you an indication of what that could be. So, any suggestions, Retrobates? What would thoughtful music be?
Hans Zimmer.
Oh, okay. Thoughtful music. What would thoughtful
New
music?
Order.
The theme from Minder.
Bananarama.
Oh, Bananarama. Now it's all we got bogged down with Bananarama last week, didn't we? Talking about which one we fancied the most, and
System of a Down.
Sabine.
Probably
this is the moment, isn't it?
Bit of Radiohead, maybe. Bit of Radiohead.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the
Great
moment.
minds. This is the moment. Well, we get an arse shot here, but it's not much of an arse, is it?
Can't
It's
see
like
it,
looking at can't see anything there. Yeah, there we go. I mean, it's a rhetorical question, Ahsoka, because you fucking know you can't count on it. She's already betrayed you once.
You've got to have some obvious foreshadowing.
Yes, it's about as obvious as a Liam Neeson dong in a trans woman in a female toilet, isn't it? I mean, it's just glaring.
What swappers in Leicester, you mean?
Yes, they do like a urinal in the ladies' toilets in Leicester, you're right. Hello, swappers. She's folding her arms again. For fuck's
Drink,
sake,
everybody.
I'm running out of drink.
And then she goes, you know you can. Is it predictable? Is it predictable and boring, or is it me? Because I'm not as good at doing I'm not as good at doing these as you guys are. But to me, I just saw this straight away.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It is predictable, but they've made it so predictable because it's so obvious and so overt, and it's obvious and overt because they haven't paced themselves, so they haven't teased it, so they have to be obvious and overt. Otherwise, well, we've not been able to gain any kind of evidence building up to this point, which will lead for a better, nicer, more streamlined kind of mystery plot. So instead, yeah, it's just on the nose, but predictable is not what you really aspire to. But then this is Disney Star Wars, and their target audience is morons, so.
Distance, thundering, wind, whooshing.
Brown, could you, while you're doing a little bit of ASMR, could you do this one from Swappers, please?
Swap Shop in the chat. Hugh Schofield heard the title Heir to the Empire and thoughts of the short and curlies put him right off. I think I butchered that, but we get the gist.
You did, but here's a little follow-up from Not Brian, if you would, Brown.
Not Brian in the chat. No, you're predictable and boring too, Brune. Cheers, Brian.
Thank you for that, gentlemen. And we go to look. This is where I did perk up because it's our favourite bad guys, isn't it? And whenever Ray Stevens is on screen, he does. I don't know. I pay attention, and that's got to be a good thing, surely. And it's how would you describe his performance, Chordy? Would you say it's kind of understated? Is he? It's quite brooding. It's nicely done, isn't it? There's something about it I just enjoy.
Yeah, the performances, the character, unfortunately, is becoming much more irritating as time goes on. And in particular, in this episode is when I think things started to come to a bit of a head, because he doesn't have a huge amount of lines, but all of those lines are supposed to tease this deep, dark mystery behind him and this past that he has, which we don't know anything about. So he gives all these hints about things that he thinks or things that he's done or experiences he's had. And they're all hints about stuff that's never yet been explained. We are halfway through the season now. At some point, he's going to have to be a bit more than just, yeah, kind of reminds me of that time, trails off. And you think, well, for the first 2 episodes, fine, that's interesting because I want to learn more. But eventually we get to the point that, no, I need actually more substance behind him. Because also, this is the episode where we start getting some hint about his motive as well. But his motive seems to be as empty and shallow as everything else about him, unfortunately, which is essentially, sometimes you need to destroy things in order to build new ones. And I'm thinking, yes, that might well be true in a general sense, but what do you specifically want? Why do you specifically want to bring Thrawn back, given that you are a fallen Jedi and not a Sith? And there's no answer to any of that stuff. So the longer this kind of thing goes on, the more annoying his character becomes, which is a shame because he performs it well. He's the only person in there who gives any sort of halfway competent performance. But yeah, his character is starting to grate with me a bit now.
Really?
Franco's reaction was the fact you came in so hot on the mic there, Chordy.
Shit! Yeah, sorry, I was spinning around.
Boom! Yeah,
it was hotter than Anakin and the crawling out the lava. It was really
got
something.
super chat room.
Oh, brilliant! Would you like me to do it,
please?
Jonathan, I'm going to sing your super chats. Jonathan, for 10 real American dollars, the land of the free, the land of the brave. We do all realize that Ahsoka's tentacle cat died trying to swallow her whole head first. Right. How about that, Jonathan? No, I probably offended half of America with that, but never mind. It kind of worked, that, didn't it?
It did.
No, not even in the slightest.
You had a rhyme in there, and then you somehow managed to make it not sound like a rhyme, which was quite impressive.
Oh, no, that's the old subverting expectations. Just comes naturally to me.
Oh,
now.
Cheers, Rue.
I was a homage to America. I don't know. I mean, I butchered it, haven't I? Like I butchered Star Wars anyway. But look, I'm trying to be creative here. We haven't got all masters of the accents on tonight. I'm having to try new things. Anyway, back to this somewhat reasonably compelling scene because we've got some good actors. What do you think of his beard, Brown?
It's fantastic. It's
good,
very grey, very long. There's a good 6 months growth there. Very good.
I like the symmetry of the kind of white hair on the two bad guys, the male, the female. Fantastic shoulders as well.
He's not even trying, and yet he's head and shoulders above anybody else on the acting level. Or is it because he's just the only real man that's in the show? Is that what it is, do you think?
Maybe there is an incredible amount of women in this show, isn't there? I mean,
there's a few, yes.
There's a suspicious number of women in this show, I agree. But I don't know. He has those natural advantages. He has the deepest voice. He is the tallest. He is the broadest. So he has most natural presence. But you can do that as a woman as well. If you think like Kate Blanchett as Galadriel, for example, has immense screen presence, despite not being as big and overtly masculine as Big Ray here. So it's possible to do it as a woman. I don't think it's just the fact that he's a man that does it. It's just that the women around him are not very good.
Amelia's liking a bit of Ray Stevenson, Silver Fox, she calls him. Sadly, no longer with us, though, is he?
Rest in peace.
Postman called it. Yeah.
He's a very silver fox.
Z, can you remind us what the bad guys are up to here, Z?
Shin Hati's just reporting that they're about a dozen clicks away from them, and they're going to send in the hunter-killer droids to move in and sort them out.
So there are problems with this. There are many problems with this. But if you're the superior force, you have air power, you have long-range weaponry, you have 2 people who can use the force and lightsabers, you have immense amounts of potential to hit these guys from range. What would you do in the chat in this situation? You know where your enemy is, you know they're grounded, you know that they all use melee weapons, and that they are basically vulnerable and they don't know where you're going to come from or when. Do you fly your planes in and bomb them from the sky? Do you snipe them from the trees? Or do you send a droid in to punch a droid and a woman in who just doesn't blink, and that apparently is her superpower, and then just let them escape? It's like you have them exactly where you want them. They should all be dead already. But no, because if they did that, if they were sensible bad guys, the plot wouldn't work. So we have to make do.
And certainly don't use one of those HK assassin droids with personal tactical nukes as a self-destruct system to just walk up to the ship and detonate.
Oh,
that would end there. What?
Stop spoiling it.
They introduced it in the very first episode, and now we have to forget that all of these
robots
have
that was 4 episodes ago. I've forgotten. Moving on. Stop spoiling it.
Well, so is Filoni, so you're in good company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone made the point earlier, and the super chat. Not the super chat, just the general chat. So good. I'm just scrolling through it and trying to give everyone a bit of airtime. But someone made the point earlier. Why TF is Ray Stevenson taking orders from this old hag? That's a fair point. Why is he?
They've been hired, so they're getting paid.
Okay, comes down to money. There we go.
And yet it doesn't, because later on in this episode, Big Ray will start talking about, again in vague terms, what he thinks and believes. And it's not just money. He does have this belief about the need for some new thing to rise. So it's not just a mercenary ambition, but it's not really an ambition at all. He doesn't replace it with anything in terms of content or substance. It's just, I'm doing it because the script needs me to.
Yeah, we've got some alternative theories. Kerry Antos says because of vagina.
Bruce Lee's goddaughter, remember?
Ricky Hansen says simply because he's a white man. Yeah, there we go. And roll the credits. Not doing bad. Nearly an hour just on that Rachel pre-scene.
Mystical music.
Oh, mystical music. What would be mystical music?
Peter Andre.
Mystical? Mysterious, maybe, but not mystical. We need to find out, in an effort to get to know our retrobates better, and the chat, actually. No need to exclude the chat from this. What's everyone's music tastes? I'm a big music fan. I'm always intrigued on other people's music tastes. Brownie, just don't have to reel off the whole
5-hour stream incoming, everybody.
No, just give me one. Just give me one artist, Brownie. Just give me one
artist. What about a band group?
Anything? Yeah, one.
Genesis.
Oh, fucking typical. Z, what about you?
I'm more of a Smiths or Prodigy man.
Oh, okay. Quite diverse. What about you, Geordie?
Radiohead and Muse, mostly.
Okay, excellent choices. As you all know, I'm a bit of a rocker at heart. So I'll go with the old Def Leppard. But
propaganda, excellent.
We will
love propaganda.
We'll keep an eye on the chat. We've got some metalheads in the chat.
They brought a new album out last year. Propaganda, excellent.
Anyway, we're getting bogged down in music, but good to see, the diverse, natural diversity we have in the retrobates and the man babies. Fallen Jedi. Is this this is well, this is foreshadowing, isn't it, for what happens later on?
Yes, it could be referring to a great number of things.
Mm.
It could be
there you go.
referring to Skull and Hattie, or it could be referring to Ahsoka doing a Black Widow a bit later.
Daisy Blossom, someone after my own horse. Thank you, Daisy. Chili's, yeah. Iceman's an AC/DC fan. Yeah, we've got a few rockers actually, Brown. You seem to attract the old rockers. Guns N' Roses as well. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm totally getting bogged down, but back to this fucking stupid droid, and he's still fiddling away, trying to make things happen. Do you want to give us that line?
Electricity crackling.
There you go. We need a compilation of all those, Brownie. And we're getting a POV shot here.
There's a. Can you see the gun, rifle,
Yeah.
laser, blaster type
We can.
thing?
Wayland's a bit sophisticated, unless he's just taking the piss a little bit here. He said Bach and Beethoven. Waylon, I'm going to call you out on this. What's your favourite Bach tune, Waylon? Don't think about it too
Goldberg
long.
variations. The Goldberg variations is everybody's favourite part.
Oh, God, Lordy, whatever's going on with your mic is the reason you've dropped out the top 5 of the ASMR.
Really, I'm miles away from the mic at the moment. What's going on? I'm miles away. I'm whispering.
But
I'm
you're
about-
inside my head,
I'm
loud.
about 2 feet away whispering into this. What's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
I will play around with it and find
It's
out.
great though.
Rustling. She's looking inside her bag. Blaster clicking.
Yeah, so she's getting dressed up again, and she's cosplaying as a Mando again, isn't she?
Yeah.
Is this any better?
Yes, you're fine.
Nice
It was just
blaster. I like that
random.
blaster.
Yeah, it's not a bad looking blaster, is it?
I want you.
Brownie, could you take the reins for one moment? I'm about to shit my pants.
Okay.
Over to you, Brownie. I'll only be
Okay.
a moment. It's
This is going to be a
it's
Gavin McInnes moment.
coming on strong.
Wow, talk about dropping me at the deep end. Here we go. Presenter mode, everybody. Relax. I'll just talk over the doodads. Don't worry
This
about
line of
me.
dialogue, this exchange is absolute bullshit. So essentially it's, don't worry about me. I'm not. Are you worried about me? Yes. Are you listening to your own characters? This entire exchange is redundant, but it's because they're not confident that people have picked up on the impending betrayal from the earlier very overt tease of the impending betrayal. So they have to do it again.
Is this almost like kind of just a second question to the one we heard previously? You know, the foreshadowing of the betrayal. This is like, are you sure? Are you sure you're not going to betray us?
Yeah, it's for the very slow kids at the back who missed the first one.
Reinforcement.
Your average
and of
Disney
course,
Star Wars fan.
If you go back and watch Rebels, none of this, how much Ezra means to you, that's bullshit. Never happened. Ridiculous. I don't
Here
know
you go,
why they're
folks.
putting it in there. It's like some sort of forced romance that just was a non-event.
But then there's a weird tension, isn't there? Because later on, they're going to try and... they said in the earlier episodes that Ezra was like Sabine's brother. There's a familial relationship. The familial relationship is the thing that's going to come back again later in this episode, is the thing they invoke. But in the interim, they do sort of proceed as though it is an aborted romance, which they want to develop. And I think they should have just gone with the romance angle. I don't really understand why they chose the sort of the vague family connection between them over the potential romance between them. The romance is a much stronger and more obvious goal for her to try and accomplish. Is a clearer reason for Sabine to do what she's doing, basically, and they've chosen a much more vague and wishy-washy one.
Is writing hard, Lord?
It's not as hard as these people make it look, but yes, apparently it is.
I'm back, Brownie. I've managed to sort myself out there. Just had a bit of a Hugh Edmonds moment. Just caught the back end, the arse end of what Chordy was saying. And Chordy, I want your love and I want your revenge. You and me could have a bad romance. Just reminded me of that, Chordy.
I don't
we,
even know what that is, but
it's
sounds
a bit
Lady,
of,
it's
I'm
Mr.
scared.
It's Mr. Gaga.
Have we still got, I was hoping, while I had my pants around my ankles and my head between my legs, that I'd come back to a different scene, but we've still got these
No.
two fucking dumbasses bullshitting their way through another scene. Take a drink, man, babies.
Are you sure you're not going to betray us?
Life pro tip, everyone. Don't go do lots of physical exercise, eat absolutely nothing but a Snickers Duo bar, and then have about 4 double
God.
rum and cokes before going live on YouTube to 185 man babies. Geordie, you're going to absolutely love this, and he's paid with real money, so I'm afraid you don't really have a lot of options here. Here we go.
Oh, for fuck's sake. MJ UK 84 for £5.
Go on, son.
Can I? God.
Yeah, of course you can. You know
Go
you
on.
can. Go on.
And I'm Sabine. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Etc.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Get in.
That was beautiful.
I'm moist.
You don't get that on Nerdrotic. Moving on.
No, you don't get it on Friday Night Tights either. They don't let him fucking speak, never mind sing. Waylon Bossiphus has come back after Googling what does back do with Corn
Well
Sweet
done,
Death for
Waylon.
back, and I also like
Well
Suite
done,
number
mate.
3 in D major. Okay, fair enough.
done, mate.
I'm more of a Suite in G major man myself, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. Geordie, I'm let me just wipe away some of the
Voice of an angel.
dribble from the edges of my mouth. That was fabulous. Anyway, look, Lordy's singing. I'm got explosive diarrhea. This scene's still going on.
When the stakes are this high, are you still going to betray us?
It's been written by ChatGPT. If you go back one slide and
Yeah,
just
I'm doing
admire
it,
the
I'm doing it.
dialogue that's sorry, and the one before that, sorry, 2 slides I meant.
5 hours.
Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Oh,
And then the response is, do you really believe that? It's like, what is this dialogue? Of course that's true. And everyone knows that that's true.
well,
Are they trying to pay off part of this absent backstory they have? Has Sabine, has Ahsoka at some point done something in the context of Sabine which was motivated solely by her personal feelings? Because if so, we really should have seen that by now. And we haven't. Otherwise, it's just filler bullshit stuff.
Star Wars Theory's lapping this up, so it must be good. Moving on.
I'm eating a burger, bro. I'm literally doing a Star Wars Theory.
Yeah, well, we need people paying $200 for you to eat a burger. Okay.
I know. Sorry, folks, but I'm dying on my arse here. You wouldn't believe it.
I have to.
I could end up in the old Elvis Presley situation later on if I don't watch myself.
What? Heart attack on the toilet?
Yeah. Whilst eating a burger.
Is it coming out as quickly as it's going in? Is that the
It
problem?
is. It's I've got full on Last Jedi going on here. It really is a terrible situation. Anyway,
here you go. Well, I'll do this. I'll do you.
Go on.
Munch.
Okay, I will.
Gavin Blackburn in the chat for £2. Real money, folks. You touched me, Platoon, with the singing. He touches everybody.
I do. I've got a conviction for it.
Yes.
Geordie
what's
is
this?
Geordie's the second best. I mean, he's damn good, but he's only the second best vocalist we've got on the panel of retrobates. Not tonight's panel, but the all-time panel. Obviously, Mega Geek is our number one crooner. If you've ever heard Mega Geek, wow, what a voice! The
Chakademus
man
and Mega
is.
Geek, yes.
Honestly, it'll feel like you've been, fondled anally by an angel. It's just something unreal. So,
Power
yeah.
re-energizes.
Distant snapping.
Distant snapping.
Distant snapping, everybody.
That's
Oh,
my
yes.
tether snapping watching this fucking show.
Snapping.
But this is, I mean, just these are assassin
Knuckle
droids.
crunching.
The assassin droids have snuck up on the ship. Nobody knew they were coming. There's a droid outside.
Grunting.
They're assassin droids, and he decides the thing to do, the sneaky assassin droid thing to do, is to walk all the way up to him and punch him in the face. He's made of metal. What
How
are you
does
doing?
a droid grunt? Anyway,
You have guns. Well, that's a good point. But you have guns. None of this should be happening.
Grunting.
I don't understand why Star Wars does not understand ranged combat anymore. Why is he putting his hand over his mouth? He's a fucking droid.
utter bollocks.
But that shouldn't muffle him as it muffles people.
No.
He has a speaker there.
Just utter bollocks.
It's quite ridiculous. And yeah, why just off him straight away? Close
Zee, one for you,
quarters,
mate.
vibro knife. Professor R2 for $5 in the chat says, I, for one, welcome a little droid on droid action. Z and I could tell you some stories. Energetic, vibrating. Yes.
Well,
yes, we
more
can.
than just friends, AZ.
Oh, lovers on and off, as you do.
Friends
You
with
hated
benefits.
Kenny Baker, though.
Any hole in a storm.
Well, he was just the right height for certain activities, wasn't he? Z?
He was. Mhm.
Droid chattering.
Rest in peace, Kenny. Go on,
Electrical
Brown.
sparking. Powering down. Oh,
Yeah, the lights go off and they think, oh no, has the droid, there you go, has the droid made it worse? And the fact that the droid wouldn't make it worse means that they automatically know they're being attacked, even though they should all be dead by now because one rocket launcher would have done the job.
he wouldn't.
you know.
Lightsabers igniting.
Self-destruct, exploding.
More grunting, everybody. Or runting.
It's
Wayland
supposed to-
Persephus
Yeah, go on.
for two. Well,
Persephus.
you're eating for $2. My favorite Beethoven piece is his violin concerto.
My favorite Beethoven piece is his cod piece. He has a particularly impressive Liam Neeson dong going on. But Waylon, okay, we get it. You know your shit.
Google does. Lightsaber
Oh,
clashes.
does a lightsaber actually do something here? Do we need to take a drink or?
Not quite yet.
No, she remembers in this scene that she has two of them, though. She's going to go on to forget that. And this is also coming up, I think, the scene when Sabine
Grunts.
decides that, yeah, shooting people with guns is not the proper use for guns. So she clubs a droid made of metal in the head with the butt of a pistol, which is also made of metal, as opposed to just, shooting it.
That's a droid.
Good shot. Nice
Look at that.
capture, Brown.
Oh, no, that one might not be a droid, but she definitely punches somebody.
My favorite, folks, metal clanging. Clanging? What?
Also, do you know how good your reflexes would have to be to get your fists up in that particular position to block a laser bolt? I mean, that's not the most effective guard tactic I can think of. Would have been better if you just shot the guy before he'd shot you.
Z, are you available, please?
Yes, ran out of channel names for $5 says, Still somehow better than the woman defeating 2 stormtroopers by touching their helmets in Kenobi. Yes, I remember that. Just give them a slap and they fall over unconscious.
Advance warning, I'm doing the next super chat in the style of the British national anthem. So
Oh no.
I've fueled up, man, babies. I've had a burger. So we'll all stand to attention, hand on our arse, and we'll do the national anthem for the next super chat. So if
Lightsaber clashes.
that's not a reason to get a super chat in. I don't know what
Yells.
is. Not that one.
Yells.
Okay, Battle Ragers, meant to give a shit, don't,
Grunts.
frankly.
Panting.
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 It's a panting.
I found myself comparing this scene to
Lightsabers disengage.
the scene in, I believe, Empire Strikes Back, although I'm not known for the best memory. They're in the belly of the space worm.
That's what I said.
Han and Leia.
Yeah, I said that 50 minutes ago.
Oh, did you? Sorry, Brownie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I say compare
That's
it,
what
but
it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a much inferior version, but it's that same kind of concept, isn't it? They're trapped, they're stuck, they're under attack.
Huyang stuttering. Well, that will set me back a bit.
Any love for this droid?
I quite like Yuang.
Oh.
David Tennant.
I like his kind of Maximus from Gladiator head thing that's going on. But...
Prioritize the transmitter above everything else.
You see, what they should have done, seeing as he's a training droid, is Ahsoka should have given him a set of 4 lightsabers.
Very good, yeah.
Instead of training them, he just could have gone hard mode and just wiped the hell out of them. But no,
Yeah.
won't do that.
Could have got a General Grievous reference in there as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is this the third attempt to say, you're not going to betray us, are you?
Yeah, it is. May I make one request?
Are you sure?
Stay together, he says. You always worked better that way. Which, as far as I'm aware, because I'm not that familiar with Rebels, do they spend a huge amount of time together even in that show? Or is this a reference to, again, the mysterious off-screen stuff that somehow still hasn't been explained or delivered on?
They really didn't have a huge relationship. It was more Kanan and Sabine, as he trained her in the use of the Darksaber back in Rebels, and they had more of a master-apprentice bond than these 2 monkeys ever have.
Together. Oh,
better together.
Acting, everybody. Are we going to take a drink for that? She's actually acting for once.
She's smiling as well.
Yeah,
I mean, and she hasn't got her arms
everybody.
crossed.
Take a drink,
Yeah,
everybody.
I might as well take a drink for that, I reckon.
I should have added a rule to the drinking game. Every time Sabine should be wearing her helmet but isn't. That's another one. Because she was wearing it just before now. She takes it off for this very short dialogue scene. She puts it back on, and yet she will lose it immediately in the next scene that she's in the most comically useless use of a helmet I remember seeing. And everyone knows that helmets in Star Wars, helmets generally are going out of fashion because actors are like narcissists and they want to be seen. But the woman who plays Sabine doesn't do acting. I don't really know why they've done the helmet off thing for her. But they will do it. They will contrive a way to take it off again later as well. It's just all very silly.
Everyone's just frankly in shock in the chat because we actually got an expression other than stoic.
Majestic music playing.
What would majestic music be?
Queen?
You take a
Prince.
That actually
Route 1.
That's where she runs into the unknown. Sorry.
That's all right, Brown. So it's a fleet. It's a fleet.
I remember.
Remember berry time.
Can I ask, why is this fleet a thing? The galaxy is at peace, yes?
I remember.
So why do they need this big fleet of ships constantly ready to do something?
except that they're not ready to do so. So the reason given, if you go back to say The Mandalorian, in season 3, and you have Spacey Jones, the seaweed pirate guy, who explains that the New Republic is not able even to protect the mid-rim planets against the pirate nation. The pirate nation never gets another mention, but it's implied that there's a lot of piracy, there's a lot of Imperial Remnant stuff going on. New Republic is struggling to maintain territory because they don't have enough ships. And yet, in this scene, they clearly have quite a lot of ships. It's just that they all spend their time floating around planets where they don't need to be. The end of episode 2, they were above Coruscant. They seem to have moved somewhere else for this one, but they're not doing anything. They're just drifting around being pointless.
Yes, Ass shot everybody, and Amelia Bedelia, I thought exactly the same thing.
She's annoying, this one. I don't see what she brings to the show, but I can't deny she's got a peachy old arse on her, hasn't she? So have a drink for the arse shot. I think I'm beginning to realize the Ahsoka series did really peak in episode 1 when we had those incredible amounts of arse shots, and now we just get the odd one every now and then. Another problem with this episode, and there are many, is this fucking thing with the green hair. Why? That's a child, isn't it? Am I right in saying that?
That's her son, Jason Sindula. And you got to wonder what sort of mum she is to take her on an unknown mission against forces she hasn't yet quantified when he has a quarters on this ship.
You absolutely took the words out of my mouth, Zee. Why is she taking a child on a dangerous military mission? I don't know. I'm sure Star Wars Explain's got a fucking answer for that one, folks. But anyway, when you're paid by Disney. Cockpit action.
I remember.
So you would also think that maybe the ship would have some means and mechanism in place for unauthorized entries and exits from its landing bay. But it's not just her own ship, because she's going to take about 6 rebel fighters along with her as well. So for all the New Republic knows, the squadron leaders of several different squadrons who are guarding its most important fleet have just absconded without leave. I'm sure there won't be any repercussions for that, but there really, really should be. But it does at least give us a cameo for Carson Teva, whose name I now know because I had to Google it for my Mando script.
Would there be a crash in that ship?
No, there'd be a court-martial for everybody who went on this mission. Even if they're on the good side. We court-martialed our guys for running off to do something else. So they've signed their own warrant, which I kind of think jeopardizes the agreement that Carson Teva made with Din Djarin. Because if he gets himself killed or dishonorably discharged, that entire storyline's fluffed.
Maybe it's a really neat and efficient answer to why are none of these people in the sequel trilogy? So, well, they were all court-martialed and put to death. So after this season, the execution scene will be harrowing, including the kid, and we'll never see from them again. That wouldn't be terrible, I don't think, given how bad the characters are.
Is the kid going to be useful later? Because they wouldn't have brought him.
Oh yeah, there's going to be some really tragic reason
he's
they
here for a
brought him
reason,
along.
isn't it?
Is there anything he's particularly good at? Because he has a line later about, "Mum, I have a bad feeling."
He's the son of Kanan Jarrus, who's a Jedi. So
he's probably Force sensitive.
He's probably Force sensitive.
Or is he though? Because remember, we have to train. The Force is entirely a thing that you train with discipline,
mate.
as episode 2 explained for us. So if he's not training with it, then he doesn't have it.
There'll be a primal scream moment where...
But then you get back to the midichlorians argument, that he probably has a higher level than most and subsequently has more aptitude for tapping into it.
Jaden Smith Eyes. You got rid of him, Brown. How dare you? Jaden Smith Eyes in the chat quotes one of my all-time favorite characters, and I'm just going to do it as best as I can. Can I go back and then we'll...
Of course you can.
De Wanawanga.
I like your avatar, by the way, mate. Very good.
And then we did have a super chat, which I promised I would sing in the style of the British national anthem, and as luck wouldn't have it, it's a one-word super chat. So I've got my work cut out. I might have to skip that one. Go back to it though, Brown.
I'm doing it. It's okay. World Health Organization.
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. There's your answer. Run out to channel names. One of my favourite
$2,
names of
folks.
all the people we have.
World Health Organization.
You're getting political again, Brown.
Oh no. Moving on. Chopper chattering.
Wah, wah.
Chopper chattering.
Also, this line as well. It's not exactly the best lesson to be giving to your kid, is it? The kid says, "Why can you disobey orders? Why do I have to do what I'm told?" And she says, "Well, when you're a general, you can do things that would get you court-martialed as well." So that's not how the military works, my dear.
Yeah, but it does in California, IA, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Princess Fiona for $2.
Brown, Brown, I must barge in rather gracelessly. Can I do this in the British national anthem, Brown?
You going to?
Of course I'm going to. I'm half pissed. Princess Fiona for $2. Captain Chow Yun Fat Ass Flying Escort.
Moving on.
That's the German national anthem next, everyone. So she's being snarky and generally annoying, as most of the females are in this show.
So we know, at least in terms of law, that if you've got the 5 little Viagra pills on your chest, then you're a
What?
general, right? That's how this works. Because the
Mhm.
problem with placing a lot of these people is that because the costumes are so shit and they have really just glued Smarties to a piece of cardboard, it's not immediately obvious who's who and in what position. But this is the second person in high rank I've seen who has the 5 die symbol, so I'm assuming
Ooh.
that
They
is
are
how this
actually
works.
buttons from. Do you remember like old electronic machinery in the 70s? They used to have big plastic buttons that lit up. That's
Mm.
what they are.
And no one remembers the 70s, Brian. We either weren't alive or we were too fucking high to remember what happened. We have another super chat. They're hot on the super chats. So Sabine's Cheshire Cat for $2. Patton's jackets can't make Hera a real general.
Arse.
Gotta get
Do you
this on
remember when the
Friday night,
Empire
boys.
used to have little tubes on the uniforms which carried their chain codes and authority levels? What happened to
No.
those? Do they not use them anymore?
Conveniently forgotten. Engine.
The chain
Zee?
code thing is such
Igniting.
absolute horseshit, though.
I know.
And my
Zee,
God.
could you do Waylon's question, please?
Waylon Bucephus in the chat says, "Why is Hera a general? She seems like a remedial learner."
Careful with that word.
Okay, we have to be careful with those.
I look who's here a bit.
Speaking of,
Yes, I would like a longer, thank you.
Yay! It's our old mate, Darth Kippers. How you doing, Kippers?
My voice is actually rather rough after shouting in a bar for 4 hours, but apart from that, yes, I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much for the win. Can we get on with it?
Here you go, folks.
Beautiful.
Drink X-Wing.
I remember.
I remember X-Wing.
You're right, BIGT. I am from that land, the land of music, and that's why I'm such a fan.
How did the meetup go, swappers, for the folks at home?
Well, there was a lot of queuing. It was a very, very big, long sports bar with people queuing in it, and there were queues.
What were you queuing for, swappers?
Well, I wasn't queuing. Everyone else was
Oh.
queuing. I was sitting down chatting to my friends that I know from Twitter and online and stuff that I haven't met before. And everyone else was queuing up to have things signed by Nerdrotic and the Critical Drinker.
All right. Who did you, are you able to drop some names for us? Who did you get to meet?
I'm not sure if
Anyone?
anyone will know in the stream, but Atomic Blonde was one.
Oh, okay.
what did she go by? Shah Rambles, Starry-Eyed Girl, and Mega Geek. We're all
Oh,
there.
Mega Geek. Yeah, I take it he was just couldn't stop him singing. He's just constantly.
No, he was complaining that it was shit.
Shit.
What am I doing
I
here?
think you can do both, actually. I think you can sing and complain at shit at the same time. But also, Lance was there as well, so I had a good chat to Lance.
Oh, beautiful. Princess Fiona, you are so right. If you watch 30 seconds and skip every 5 minutes, you will miss a thing in this episode. And you're damn right.
So I haven't missed anything then.
It's so bloated. No, not really. I mean,
I remember.
It's the odd bit of inexplicable stupidity, and all of the main characters should be dead, but they're not because of stupidity. And now here they are, and these people should also be dead. I remember playing the X-Wing Alliance is a really, really good old Star Wars sort of arcade flight game thing, but it has a really good story. It's actually, it's a surprisingly good game, which I would really like to see turned into a show at some point. It does really good character work. It's well written as a game, but there is one mission of that where this so that there's an Imperial general who defects, or at least you think he's defected. No, that's wrong. No, there is one who does defect, but there's another guy who you think is on your side. And it turns out that he is a defector to the Empire. And so at one point he goes to escape, nicks a shuttle, flies away. And what happens when there's an unauthorized departure from a major capital ship in the Rebel Navy? Well, you immediately send a fighter screen out to chase it down and disable it if you can and destroy it if you can't, because you don't want people getting away for unknown reasons. There are actual rules and procedures in place in navies, lo and behold. You can't just take ships and run. But here, several of the senior members of the entire military just abscond, and nothing is done about that. They don't scramble a single fighter when they know that a shuttle's left without authorization, and an entire fighter screen has also abandoned its post without authorization. None of this works at all, but it is where we are.
That reminds me of an episode of Rebels where Ezra steals an A-Wing and buggers off and no one goes after him at all.
Let's not get bogged down in rules and regulations of a Navy or Space Fleet.
Let's not get bogged down in anything that makes sense.
So, as virtual satire says, it is the new Wedge, and this old fucker again. He keeps cropping up. I was half expecting to pan to another pilot, and it's Dave fucking Filoni with the fucking cowboy hat on top of his helmet like a stupid prick, goofy smiling into the camera. Honestly, I was expecting at any moment. It didn't happen, but tell you
Doing
what.
that ridiculous laugh of his.
Yeah.
Not to disappoint chat, though, it's not Wade, I'm afraid. He's still not back yet. But so as far as we know, he's still dead.
Yeah, Wade.
This line is just, honestly.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
You're not a rebel when you are the fucking establishment now, I'm afraid. You're running the show.
But this is what, the third or fourth time they refer to themselves as rebels? Like a callback to the show. It's getting a little bit tiresome.
I remember.
Look at those 5 TIE fighters there. They're all facing court-martial if they ever come back alive.
TIE fighters?
TIE fighters?
X-Wings. I've written TIE fighters in my notes. What have I done?
TIE Bri fighters.
Wouldn't it be funny, though, if immediately after they left, the Imperial Remnant staged a hit-and-run mission and none of the fighters were there to protect them, so all the capital ships were undefended and died?
I remember.
And all those pilots would be labelled as war criminals.
Would the child be a war criminal traitor?
First against the wall.
Yeah, drinks for the member berries there in that last scene. And
who is the child in terms of actor? Is he one of the producer's sons? Because that's normally what happens.
He can't act. That's what.
So we had Jimmy Kimmel's nephew in The Mandalorian. So this guy's got to be the son of somebody famous.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thought. As Brownie drops a bollock. MJ UK 84 says Ahsoka's the simple Jack of Star Wars. What do we think of that? I put maybe one too many memes out on Twitter, and I got a bit of flack from some Star Wars fans who are rather fond of her.
Star Wars Theory, was it?
I don't know. Well, there was a few people got rather upset by my some of my memes. But there we go.
I remember.
I
yeah.
don't think the actor's got any famous links to parents. Evan Whitten is his name, but I can't see anything relating as to how he got where he is. Though he has done an awful lot of TV.
We have a official complaint to the
Oh, sorry.
channel, so I need to raise this with the head of HR, which
That's
is you,
the
Mr.
Lord.
Brown.
No, that's
Oh, it's the Lord,
Go
is
on.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That can't be right, because if I came to power, I would abolish all HR departments everywhere. But I
Well,
can
that's why.
stand in if
Yeah,
you
but
like.
that's why you're the best person for the job while there is a HR department, because you don't want to do it.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Okay, in that sense, then it is you, Lordy. So I'm going to hand this over to you, Lordy. I'd like you to, as a good HR person would, read it in fullness, consider it, and then give your legal response. There we go.
From Raptors, you guys are honestly way too nitpicky. There are plenty of actual criticisms you can level on this show, but most of this stream has just been pointless.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, there's a difference, you see, because what we're doing is we're reviewing something that's pointless. That's the problem. Like, if it seems nitpicky, it's because there's nothing to actually really grasp onto with the show. That's kind of the overarching problem we've had throughout the streams. Ahsoka doesn't need to exist. The story doesn't exist. There's no content there. So we will make the major criticisms. We already have. I guess you just weren't here at the time. But the rest of it is just because what else is there to talk about? Obviously, there are going to be nitpicks in a show that has no substance.
You really are the best person for the job.
Okay, well, Raptors, that's put you back in your cage. But
Yeah,
no,
I
we
mean-
appreciate all submissions. And Raptors, just for you, here is your
We don't want
your
to be
official.
nitpicky, though. Do we want to be nitpicky?
No, but equally, we don't want to spend 2.5 hours doing a watch along like Star Wars Theory and
No,
spurging all over the episode.
And eat
Because
burgers and
it
drink.
simply is not that good. It's fast food content. It's got all the components of a meal, but it does you no good.
This
like a
one's
vegan meal.
This one's for you, not Brian. Raptors, just to give you full validity here, I'm going to read out your comment in the style of Flower of Scotland. You guys are honestly way too nitpicky. There are plenty of actual criticisms. I've forgotten the melody.
You can level on this show, but most of this stream has just been pointless.
Anyway, official complaint.
180 people say it's not pointless.
Oh, he makes a point. He makes a point. I mean, Raptors, okay. You stand your ground, Raptors. You like The Last Jedi. That's you're my kind of man. Anyway, back to Ahsoka.
There is, for impartiality, there is no right or wrong answer. We can only give our opinions. And Z fucked off.
No, I'm just some people didn't appreciate that rendition. But Quantum Rex says, "Hail to the panel. We appreciate you trying to find an entertaining show." Well, that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to polish a turd, and every week we turn up. We put our rubber gloves on, we get the glitter out, and we do really try to make a turd into something rather nice, but it's proving rather difficult.
I remember. Drink, everybody.
I just like the weird definition. It's like all the main characters should, by the rules of the show, be dead. Why are you nitpicking? Like, no, that's a fairly major criticism. Anyway, moving on.
Have some drinks, people. I count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drinks. 6 fingers.
The ring, the Stargate has obviously moved on into the planet atmosphere now, hasn't it?
I was confused about that, yeah, because in the close of the previous... Well, that was also my question. The close of the previous episode, it's in space, and that's probably where it should be. It's where it needs to be to hyperspace off. In this, so I think it must just be for the visual element, because they brought it down into the atmosphere. And in the atmosphere, it's going to wait until it receives the communications, which for a whole other reason is bullshit. Why does a computer and a droid that interprets a computer need information transmitted from a map placed in an ancient temple? I don't really understand how that works. But anyway, I think they have just brought it down so we all remember it's there. But it should just be up in space. I mean, if you remember in Rogue One, they can beam transmissions from a planet into space quite easily. It's not a new thing in Star Wars. But I think, yeah, it's just to make it look cooler than it is.
Brown is another one for you. Although, actually, Brownie, who's your head of IT? Who's the official head of IT? We know Chordy's...
It was Chordy, isn't it?
Head of IT as well?
Yeah, he bought a supercomputer which has performed beautifully. So yeah,
it's currently sitting in a cardboard box next to me, waiting to go back to the shop.
So yes, he's the head of IT.
Okay, we've got, well, unfortunately, Chordy, you have to take off your HR hat and put on your head of IT hat. Here's a complaint for you from Steve, if you would.
Well, as head of IT, I've got to be someone running new role. Hosts do not have to be Muppets and know how to operate their computers.
Ooh.
That's vaguely nerdish, I think. Yeah.
Did we do this super chat? I can't remember. I zoned out.
I don't believe so. So
did we not? I thought we did.
Brownie, we're past midnight. We're an hour and a half into this fucking shit show. Why don't you perk us all up with a bit of Jamaican? Go on, Brown.
Sabines, Cheshire Cats, $2. Patton's jacket can't make Hera a real general. Run things.
Mon. We're getting a lot of love in the chat, and we thank you for that. And we do know, in all seriousness, we know, as I always do, I like to divide the fan base, and if I'm pissing half the people off, I'm doing something right.
We say this every time. We would love to come on here, not like that, but stream on here and just say, fucking hell, this is great, this program. This is fantastic. This is what we've waited for. This is brilliant.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, these two are good. And I do try. You man babies will know. I do try to find the positives, and I do like old Big Shoulders and his side piece.
Eru, this is for you. I think you'll enjoy.
Oh yeah, Princess Fiona for $2 says, "Not Liam's cock ring. It's Lizzo's IUD." Now, IUD sounds like some explosive device you'd stand on in Afghanistan. What is an IUD?
It's some sort of female contraceptive, I believe.
Oh,
banana.
How was a banana a female contraceptive?
Well, it is in Amsterdam. If you go on the Lash with Lizzo. Moving on.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yes.
Fiona, see? My burger coming back up. Anyway, so we're back to the island of Acto, or wherever the fuck we are for this thing. And the bad guys are basically trying to get the hyperspace cock ring working, aren't they? And get the map, download the links to the map, and blah, 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 blah.
And obviously lots of exposition, because we don't have a fucking clue what's going on.
But even then, the exposition doesn't really help, because the whole plan is you have to put the little magical testicle in a plinth in the middle, and then you have to wait for as long as the show needs you to wait before it uploads coordinates to a computer in a ship. Whereas we saw Sabine using it in episode 1, I think it was, when she stole it and started unlocking it, and it contains all the guidance information it needs in its own self, I thought, because it displays the picture of the map with the route to the different galaxies. So I'm not entirely sure, except to manufacture a fight scene in an impressive looking temple, why this is the thing they went with, as opposed to just putting it on board the ring itself and then deducing the information. I think they would like you to believe that this ancient temple on a completely different planet from the one where we found the testicle has some vital clue into decoding it, but we've already decoded it, so we know that it doesn't. It's just very silly, really. And then on top of all of that,
contrived.
It's the most important artifact in the galaxy to these people. It is the most important artifact. It's the only way they can get thrown back. and on Thrawn all their hopes depend. And yet they will leave one man defending it, whilst sending a few other dozen people off in a way which just doesn't effectuate the killing they want to effectuate. And only by luck, really, do they manage to get through with their plan. So it's all quite dumb, really.
Brown, are you available to do the super chat in the style of not Brian Young?
Oh, okay.
Every time Brown draws
out
breath,
of channel
and then
names in the chat.
Go on. Best Scottish.
Burn your last. I can't do it. Hold on.
Go on.
It could be a fucking night. Oh God, I'm
Scottish.
I used to be able to do when I was going out with a Scottish lass, I was able to do a very, very good Scottish accent. But that was a long time ago, and I'm out of practice. Burn that last super chat with fire.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Sorry, Brian. Sorry, Brian, and sorry, Scotland.
Come on, let's move on. We're going to be here for 10 hours. Come on.
Nice facial acting from Ray.
That's Brian's face right now after hearing that impression.
Swappers, I'm forgetting you're here, Swappers.
I lost that a long time
Swappers,
ago.
we've been bullshitting our way through accents, and we've got the master Darth Kipling here. So, all right, next super chat's all yours, Kippers. Don't worry.
This is one of those lines that I was complaining about earlier. These things that he sort of hints at, but which don't have any substance yet. Faith, I lost that a long time ago. Oh, very deep and dark of you, Mr. Big Ray Guy, whatever your name is. But I would at some point like to know how, why, where, and when. Those are kind of important questions when you're writing characters. And he has a few other lines like that. Most of them come toward the end of the episode. But there's no information, and I have a nasty feeling we're never going to get any of it. It will never get beyond that most superficial level.
Low rumbling. Oh, Brown, you like a bit of ominous whispering, don't you?
That's my ASMR. Ominous whispering. Oh, hello. Hi.
Well, we've had a super chat, and I promise the next one will be for Darth Kipling. And this super chat is specifically requesting Darth Kipling. So if you would please, Kippers.
Fear the hammers in the chat for $5 American dollars. Darth Kipling, are you threatening me, Raptors? I am the Senate. I have ultimate power.
There you go, Fear the Hammers. That was. Hope that was everything you dreamed it would be.
Ominous whispering. Hello, Zee.
Oh, crystalline twinkling.
Twinkling. Twinkling.
Can I answer just one point in the chat? Because I think it's an interesting one. I will, yes, because I have control of this machine. Because Amelia asked, does everybody need a backstory?
Yes.
The answer is, well, no. Not everybody does necessarily need a complete fleshed out backstory with all the depth and details fleshed out for us. But when the baddie consistently invokes it for us, which this guy often does, I Lost My Faith a long time ago is a really good example. There are plenty of other lines that he has just in this episode alone, which hint at this really important thing, which establishes his place in the universe, the reason he's here, the reason he thinks what he is, the reason he thinks what he thinks, and the reason he's not a Sith, but is instead a fallen Jedi. When he constantly invokes those things, then I think it's fair to ask at some point that we understand where he's come from, since the past is very important to him. Some bad guys don't necessarily need one. I don't think Darth Maul needed a backstory, for example. I think he was good enough on his own. But with someone like Big Ray, I think that is quite important. And the show seems to think it's important, but not important enough to actually give us anything. If there's still 4 episodes left, maybe it will, and I'd be glad if it does. But I think in this case, someone does need to do something for it.
Big special episode next week, 50 plus minutes. Filoni directing.
Well, we'll look forward to
supposed to make me
shit
excited.
Oh, yeah.
Did I see somewhere that they're doing a special celebration and putting it in cinemas somewhere?
Yeah. I read the same.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to all the pictures coming out of the 5 people waving their lightsabers in the audience.
Star Wars Theory with his food from the food place in the foyer.
Shoving his face full of burgers. I can
Pulsing.
talk. Z, would you kindly do this one for us, please?
I can indeed. Smilex for £5 in the chat, which is real money, don't you know? Something, something, dark side, something, something, destiny, mumble, mumble, complete, wiffle, waffle, power.
There we go. That'll do for me, Smilex.
good.
Well done.
Pulsing.
Sorry. That's all right. Yeah, no, we'll keep it rolling because yeah, I'm sure we're way behind.
linking.
There's already, so if you go, I don't want to go back too many because I know we're taking our time with this one, but the ring thing is that the setup seems to be that this temple is integral to extrapolating from the map the proper line to take in terms of going through hyperspace to find the next galaxy, which I thought the map already had that all within itself, but apparently you need this specific temple to do it. But this is a slight Sith dagger little device going on here, because it basically means that this huge hyperspace ring, unless you can put it within, well, you can't even have any margin for error unless it's in exactly the right position relative to exactly the right perspective at which you're looking at the headstone, then you're going to somewhere completely different. There must be a more efficient way of doing this. I thought they were supposed to be tracking whales.
Yeah, the ship is there now, isn't it? Where it wasn't before. The ring is now there on the
It was
actual...
in orbit, but it's descended down through the clouds for dramatic effect.
Yeah. But does it need to be there? Well, it doesn't, does it? Because it just warps out later. Yeah, so, okay.
Warps out? What is this, Star Trek?
Yeah, the chat is... we were accused of being a bit nitpicky earlier, but the chat seems to be backing us up. They're not impressed with some of the devices used in this episode and the whole map situation. But hey-ho, Ahsoka's here to save the day. We might get something exciting to talk about.
Yeah, these two people knew exactly the route that Sabine and Ahsoka would take to go through this really long, deep, dark forest with many directions to possibly take. And so they were just standing there waiting for them to arrive. But this is worth drinking for, because it's one of the only times we see Sabine in a helmet where it's actually useful, because the rest of the time she's not going to be wearing it. The way she loses it in this coming scene as well is just ridiculous, because the whole point of helmets is they're supposed to withstand damage, right? So they shouldn't just fall off randomly if, for example, you stumble into a tree, which is effectively what happens, and a helmet just disappears. So, yeah, good stuff.
While we've got you, Chordy, could you read out this one from our old friend Common People?
I can, from Common People for £5. Very sick, drifting in and out of sleep. I don't know if you guys are helping or making it worse.
Worse.
Platoon calling me daddy might help.
You know what to do. Common People, I don't know if you missed the start. I'm sure it was you requested the Weird Al Yankovic intro song. So make sure when you're feeling better, you go back and give that a blast. That was especially for you. And I hope you get better soon, my friend. So we have clashing lightsabers, and we have something which, well, look, there's two things going on in this show which I'm not particularly impressed about. Some people would say we're being nitpicky. Flak from lasers in space and sparks of clashing lightsabers.
I don't have a problem with that.
You're okay?
What,
okay
sparks on lightsabers? Yeah, I have a problem with that.
Oh, okay.
Do expand.
How so?
Well, even when they're lightsaber fighting one-on-one, the lightsaber's still giving off sparks where previously it's been energy discharges. It's like they're hitting two pieces of metal together now, whereas before it was more in keeping with, the weapon that they're designed. But now, any reason to give off sparks, boy, are they milking the Adobe After Effects license.
I will say Sparks, great band.
Oh, well, talking of great bands, falling outside the normal moral constraints for $2 says, super impressed you got Tom York on stream. We did.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
We might need a timestamp for that. That was honestly that was emotional when Geordie just burst into a bit of Radiohead. It really was. Anyway, we're reminiscing about Geordie's dulcet tones, but there's a lightsaber fight going on.
Yes, according to the scene, the set in the background makes me wish for a request from the Lord. I would like Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead, please.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I thought you were on a drunken ramble, but you did have a destination. Well done, Swappers.
I remember Reaver lightsaber. I remember that nobody bought. I remember.
Double-ended dildo, folks.
But it is a double-ended lightsaber, and yeah, as we explained or explored earlier, the manner of unexpected death is I would hate for this to actually turn out to be somebody important like Darth Maul, but it's not impossible. But nevertheless, I think in either case though, just props for them for really subverting expectations. All those people saying, including myself, it could be Ezra, it could be, is it Marek from The Force Unleashed? And then he just disappears in a puff of green smoke. So that's good.
No, I wasn't sure you were actually going to be on this stream, Platoon. So I'd actually was going to paraphrase something I'd heard you say, is you have a melee weapon, just keep your distance and shoot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which Sabine never does. She just keeps running after Shinhati and getting ever closer to her till she can just clobber her on the head with a gun.
Yeah, and moreover, I mean, actually, Billie Eilish is the one running away from her. So the one with the melee weapon is trying to gain more distance, and the one with the ranged weapon is trying to close the distance. Until the point when they're literally doing that game where you run around a tree and try to, like, catch the other person. They do that for a bit, but that should never happen. And even because George Lucas has a lot of problems, but at least some of the action in the prequels kind of made basic levels of sense. So Jango Fett doesn't often voluntarily close the distance when he's fighting with Obi-Wan. He actually remembers he has a jetpack and uses that to gain some distance, for example. And yet here, no, it's just, how can we possibly make the gun as redundant as possible?
Gold-coloured droid, are you available, please, for a gold super chat?
RRTNZ in the chat for New Zealand, $10. Morning tea time. So here's my 2p. Episode 4 is pretty decent, all due to the late great Ray Stevenson, whose presence and charming malice dominates every scene. At last, Star Wars villains feel like a threat again.
You know what? I'm comfortable with your synopsis.
Yeah, I am as well.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's quite enough to make the episode decent, but there's certainly the scenes he's in, and I've been saying this pretty consistently, are the only ones that interest me. So I doth my toupee to you, sir. Well done. Also, MJ UK in the chat says, with Amber Sidaway back, is the female viewership up to 3%? You got the stats on that, Brown?
Possibly.
Yes.
I would say yes.
Just 2% are sock puppets, sadly. But
yeah, swappers.
Battle Rage is on. Really rooting for the blonde chick here. I don't know about everyone else.
One.
And someone else mentioned, I did flash it
Grunting.
up. So badly lit, this whole sequence.
Because it's cheap.
It's almost complete darkness. I don't know.
Yes, but you've seen this in all the other Disney Star Wars stuff as well. They conduct lightsaber fights in as darker circumstances as possible. Just so you've got the glow of the lightsaber, and it was wildly jarring in the Kenobi series.
I was just going to say that the stagecraft brightness setting is obviously way too low.
Yeah, absolutely, swappers.
Super chat route.
Oh, our old friend Wolf Spain for $2 says Django even uses explosives when blasters don't work. I mean, here's a something to ponder. Did we really see the peak of what? Did we see the peak of Mandalorian action with Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones? I believe we did. I don't think anything Disney have given us comes close to the Jango Obi-Wan battle in Attack of the Clones.
And even then, that's kind of, am I hard to get fucking stupid microphone? My God. Is that better? I don't know why it's doing this. I'm not changing any of the settings.
My brain.
I've actually turned it all the way down now to 50%. Is this better?
Yeah, you're fine now. You're fine.
Okay, fucking, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not changing anything. It just changes itself. Yeah. So even with Django though, so you have probably 2 scenes in which he's really at his peak. So you have the chase to get down to Geonosis, and then you have the battle on Camino, or sorry, reverse order, but battle on Camino, and then the chase down to Geonosis. Those are the only times you see him being actually good and competent. Otherwise, he just gets run over by a reek, which is not very impressive. But at least it's, he has moments of competence. Yeah, apparently I did. But then you compare it to the Mandalorian stuff that we get in the show called The Mandalorian, where all of them are fucking morons. Yeah, I think Django is probably the best. Even Boba Fett doesn't have much good stuff. I mean, he had bad luck in Return of the Jedi, which is by far my least favorite of the originals. So, yeah, the Mandalorians are not well served by mainstream Star Wars entertainment.
You're right. Amber Sidaway in the chat says, if you can survive a lightsaber stab, what are the stakes in this fight? And you're absolutely right, Amber. Ironically, just if we skip back only briefly, I think a tree gets chopped in half there. So take a drink for lightsaber doing actual damage to solid physical objects.
But if the character took another character's head off with a lightsaber, it'd be just barely a scratch, wouldn't it, really?
Oh, no, you don't understand, Swappers. Apparently, as a lightsaber cuts through something, it cauterizes the wound. So while removing the head, it also heals the wound it creates. Honestly, there's whole theses on this, theses on Twitter. You should read it. Honestly, you're so out of touch.
Tense music playing.
Back to the IMAX theatre.
Do you think it was sorry, just going back, don't you think it was just so exciting how both of them were fighting at the same time, and it was juxtaposing between the 2 fights? I was just so, oh my god, it was so amazing.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
So our evil minions characters are still working hard to
system beeping.
I like the look in place.
Beeping.
Use a little bit of a trope here, isn't it? It's basically the ticking of the clock trope, and they're just waiting for everything to align.
Oh yes, the mandatory timer as it calculates the chevrons required to activate the Stargate.
Stargate.
Brown, who is your head of how do I phrase this? Head of consistency and logic. Who's your head of consistency?
Oh, that's easy, that is.
Yeah?
Well, there's only one person who's good at thinking things through on a logical basis.
Right.
Well, it's the Lord, isn't it?
It's the Lord, of course. Lordy, could you tackle this one, please?
Let's see. Okay. Am I back at a decent level again?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, good. Fear the Hammers for $5. Are the subtitles, closed caption, the actual lines and sounds written in the scripts / screenplays of these shows? Love the streams. I think that's one for you, Brown. You did the slides. Did you add the special color dialogue, like bleeping intensifiers?
No,
or did Disney do it for you?
audio. That's the subtitles. As I said, first stream, that the audio description was probably better than what was going on. We've just kind of stuck with it because it was. Thank you. Yeah, it was amusing.
I think you've cast doubt into everyone's minds because of your opening crawls, Brown. I don't think anyone knows where they stand anymore. Is this possibly the least impressive shot of a lightsaber battle you've ever seen in your entire life?
The lightsabers in this just look kind of shit as well. They haven't really got the lights. Oh, for fuck! I've turned it up. How is that a thing?
Don't.
Is this better now? I'm going to go back up to 85. Let's try that. Something in the computer is adjusting itself for some reason. I'm going to assume that this is better.
StreamYards has auto levels, and I've just looked at your levels, and it is auto levels, so you shouldn't really need to touch anything.
I'm not touching anything. It's touching itself. I don't know what's going on.
That's what I said to my mum.
Oh, God. You can tell we're running late.
What I was saying is the lightsabers in this show generally just look quite shit. And I don't know what
This
they've
didn't.
done. Well, yeah, but you can't really see it. It's spinning
I
so
remember.
fast.
I remember.
But I wonder whether it's because they're now not green screening lightsabers in. They're now using the actual props with internal lights in them. Whether they're not applying the effects in the same way across the different shows. But they just look very plasticky in this show all the way through, especially in the single saber fight. Speaking of single sabers, I don't know, maybe I missed this. Did Ahsoka drop her second lightsaber? Or has she just simply forgotten to use it from this point of the episode onwards?
No, I think she's forgotten to use it.
Oh, good. Because
She does have it. I think she's got both on her belt.
Oh,
don't worry, man, babies. I know you're all.
I did like this bit.
Oh, you liked it, did you? I was just going to clarify, Brown, because you took an excellent screen grab. The lightsaber wound is not central. It's not gone through the spine. It's only gone through the side. I'm sure this character's absolutely fine. They just need immediate medical attention. A little bit of back to come. We'll just sort that one out. A treat, and they'll be back fighting again tomorrow. There we go.
Swaps, how's your voice, mate?
Nikki Villian in the chat for 5.
Not good then.
English pound. After this fight, I'm going to watch them 2 fat YouTubers fight and be happy.
Yeah, go on, Brown. You like this, so tell me why.
Oh,
I just think it was a nice little maneuver from Ahsoka.
Oh, okay.
And I just quite liked it. I kind of he thought he was going to go for it, and she just kind of, and he was gone. Yeah, it's really good.
Take a drink for an effective
it was
action from a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Back to some sparks and some intense female action. You wish, man, babies.
It's also worth remembering one of those two characters has the Force. And we know she has the Force because she used it really effectively earlier when she force pushed Sabine into a tree and made her helmet fall off. Yeah. And yet, for the rest of it, no. Just kind of proceeding as though that isn't a factor in this fight at all.
Zee, could you do this one, please?
Yeah, go on, Zee.
Great minds.
Black lives or black votes for $1.99. They aren't lightsabers. They're Bud Light sabers.
Bud Light.
That's a thinking man's joke,
Oh,
everybody. And
very
I do,
good.
I do
Very
encourage those on this channel. Well done.
Does that mean that one of these two characters is secretly a man?
Moving on.
It's not lightsaber hilt in the pocket, that's for sure. So your old mate dies here, Brown. I think he just spews out a load of green mist, and that's the last we're going to see of him.
Well, what does that mean then?
Well, exactly. What does that mean? I know. I think there are probably theories as to what that could mean, but will we actually get an answer from the show at any point, or will we just never see him again?
No, unless you specifically watched 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, you will not have a single bloody clue what's just happened here.
Well, could that be internet gas?
It could be internet gas. He could have uploaded himself somewhere else.
You're welcome.
Is it
one
worth
of those
explaining?
Things that needs an answer, though. I think it does need explaining. This guy's been
internet gas?
No, not internet gas. There's no way of explaining that level of morondom. But this guy's death and his true nature actually does need explaining. We've been shown he's been put in center of the shot several times. They know there are fan theories about who the guy is. There must be some answer as to who he is. But it's the kind of the thing I would expect this show to do is just to have him as dead now, and we'll never see him again. And so it'll be, well, if you did watch that random one episode of that random one TV show, however many years ago it is, you might have a theory about who he is. But we're never going to actually get that answered, which is just irritating. That's cock teasing. It's not actually useful stuff.
Yes, most people who've watched this probably haven't got a damn clue about the Night Sisters' magic powers and what they can actually do. So good luck with that one.
Just Ruin, go back a moment.
Oh, the ones of
the chat has just gone ballistic.
Crazy. You want to go back to
because the Lord said cock teasing, and then all of a sudden,
yeah.
Thinking man's joke, everybody.
182 man babies in the chat. We've been consistently around that mark. I wonder how many of them don't get maybe tuning in for
They
the
all
first
get it.
time,
Don't
or
worry, they all get it.
they all get it. Okay. If you don't understand, just type 1. Just type 1. Just join in. When everyone else puts 1 in, just join in.
I had a problem with this scene
Go on.
because
Get
everything
obsessed.
just stopped. No, go back.
Oh, go back. You'd be telling me I'm going too slowly in a moment, Brown. Would you backwards,
You're
forwards,
pressing
slowly?
why didn't she just
Go on.
terminate her there while she's just
Indeed.
looking into the distance?
Yeah.
So it
Well,
goes,
I mean,
go!
let's not forget, in a couple of scenes here, she fires a wrist rocket at her.
Get the map.
The distance that they were standing opposite each other, she could have fired a wrist rocket at her head and she'd be dead now.
Yep.
But she forgets she has them.
Yeah, I've got this.
And then in the scene that follows, she doesn't even fire it at her.
But
She
it's
fires it
stood
at her
there.
lightsaber hilt. So she just knocks the lightsaber away. Yeah, she could have killed her then. But then there was also a scene just before this one when Ahsoka, with her single lightsaber for no very good reason, locks up somebody with a double-bladed lightsaber. So she's locked them up using only one blade against one half of a lightsaber. And the person whose name we don't know doesn't think, I'm just going to, move the other bit around and slice your legs off there. So she should also be dead once again. The choreography in this is not very impressive.
Well, the timing isn't.
Here you go, Brown. I'll have a little stab at that.
Ceretus Parabolus for $5.
Rounding it up.
Meaningless cool ending in a fart. A representative of the process of writing the show.
I do like a hot fart in the night. I have to agree with you on that one. Lots of zeros coming in the chats. Bit harsh. It's
Bruce
surely.
Lee's goddaughter.
Yeah. Could you not do something with that, Brown? Or
Well,
No?
you get to a certain age, and yes. Did we do this one?
She has a pulse.
Ideally, yes.
We didn't.
Flopmeister. For $5.
Rounding it up.
Here is some American money for Ruing, producing his trilogy during the stream.
Well, thank you, Flopmeister. And you know what? There's been so much absolute shite in this episode. I've barely put my notepad down. There's so many things I can reference in my trilogy. It's absolutely dire. I'm loving it. So the tediously, annoyingly long clock is gradually making its way around.
To Stargate.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's this moment. There is a moment, however, when she asks the droid how much longer they need to get the rest of the coordinates, and the droid says moments, which is about as imprecise and unhelpful you can possibly expect to hear from a droid at any point ever. It's like there have been several years since the Empire fell. So in moments, we'll be ready. Okay, how many moments? What is a moment? Quantify that for me, please.
Flopmeister was actually referring to my bathroom dash earlier on, and yes, I did. Let's just say I dropped.
Oh,
Fantastic idea for a trilogy, and sadly I couldn't capture it before I went down the U-bend, but never mind. We get to Anakin reference. Oh, put that in your memberberry pipe and smoke it, man.
I remember.
This is such shit dialogue. Anakin spoke highly of you, he says.
Of course he
Ahsoka
would.
replies, he never mentioned you. Yeah, there it is on the screen. And then I don't know what... Yeah, everyone in the Order knew Anakin. So did he actually know Anakin? Or is he saying, well, everyone knew of Anakin? And so that's how he's got the information. But if everybody knew of Anakin, then how did everybody know that Anakin spoke very highly specifically of Ahsoka? Because nobody in the Order at around the time of Revenge of the Sith, for example, ever mentions her. Like, none of that makes any sense. I would have been more interested, in a way, had he had some sort of backstory relationship with Anakin that we just hadn't heard of because it was off screen. Because at least then you can salvage that by including it later on. But he starts off by trying to tease that and then says, well, everyone knew Anakin. I don't...
Yes.
That's nothing. That's a nothing burger.
his next line is even more confusing because it's few would live to see what he had become. But it's actually canon that Vader eliminated anyone who knew his true identity. So now he's saying that a load of people knew this information.
So it's bullshit, is what you're saying.
Yes. Vader systematically murdered everybody who found out he used to be Anakin Skywalker.
Were we going too quick for the moment?
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Few would
hang on.
live to see what he became.
It's Brown does line reading time of the night, everybody. Go on then, Brown. You get into a bit of
It's
Ray
quite
Stevenson.
difficult to do line reading when you put the chat up as well.
Okay, right. Shut up, chap. We're not posting anything for the next 15 minutes.
Surely,
Right, go on. Go for it.
surely that must leave a mark.
Get a bit deeper, Brown. Just get really gritty and deep. Oh,
Is
no.
this
We need an
her
Ahsoka.
line?
Hang on. We need an Ahsoka. Z, would you play Ahsoka, please?
No, this is still Big Ray.
Oh, is it still okay? Thank
Think gravitas and pathos, bro.
Yeah, come on. Gravitas, pathos.
Is that why you walked away? Abandoned him?
That's good. That's good. Go on, Z.
I'm not here to discuss my past. The only reason I'm here is to secure the future. And you find starting another war necessary?
Oh God! Not to interrupt the line read.
I'm not starting a war.
Go on,
So
Jordy. Have you got something to
Yeah,
say on this?
just very
dialogue?
quickly. Yes, because she's basically asking him why he wants to bring Thrawn back and start another war, and he says, "I'm not starting another war," but he's bringing Thrawn back, who will start another war. So he is starting another war. So what's he fucking talking about?
Nice pussy, by the way.
Did you
Thank
come
you.
here to destroy me? No, you motherfucker.
Everyone's saying it's a little bit Monty Python, the delivery, but even a bit of Monty Python can't liven this fucking dialogue up, can it?
He's a very naughty boy.
Oh, Thrawn member Berry, everyone. Don't forget him. Apparently that's what the map's going to lead us to.
Thrawn will.
Wouldn't it just be fabulous if they finally follow the pathway on the map and they end up at Acto and Luke on the island? Wouldn't that just be absolute perfection?
One must destroy in order to create.
And what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Because like
How
you're not a Jedi.
inevitable.
Like, we know he's not a Jedi, but he's not a Sith. They've made a point of him not being called a Sith. He's not supposed to be actual evil. He's supposed to be fallen good, which is a difference, which the show really should have explored and hasn't. But he says something like, well, we have to destroy in order to create. Well, the obvious follow-up question for him, and which the audience really needs some sense of, is what are you trying to create? And why is it that you as a fallen Jedi think that reviving the Galactic Empire, which wiped the Jedi out, which you've suggested in the past you're regretful of, why is that your goal? Like, what are you, Rey? What's the point of you? What are you going for? Basic questions of motive have not been even begun to be answered yet in this show. And I don't think they ever will be, but it just makes him annoying. He's really well performed, but his character, the longer this goes on, gets worse.
Why do I feel like I need to audio edit the breaths out of your speech? Anyway, moving on.
Okay. That was the kind of thing you think in your head but don't say out loud, Brown. But anyway, you went there, so let's not worry about it. So we have lightsabers, more lightsabers. It's almost like we've gone, 3 episodes of fuck all, and then they're just going to ram in as much lightsaber action as possible in this one episode.
Plus, I can hear a Lord review of this series in my head.
It's already in progress.
Yeah, I can hear it in my head.
Swappers, let me get your thoughts on this. What do you make of this? Because on the one hand, it's a rather tedious episode, but on the other hand, we do get a fair chunk of Ray Stevenson, who is a bit of a shining light. What do you think?
Stuntman there, by the way, folks. Stuntman.
Oh, okay.
See ya,
I was
Stuntman.
really happy to see any moment because he's been so underutilized so far in the episodes we've had. I thought, he could really get into a chunk, a bit of Ray here. Get him really show his stuff. And I mean, just his presence alone is great. But sadly, he's given a bit of cat shit to work with, really, isn't he? And
Root, sorry.
Oh,
Speaking of,
excited.
go back.
I was just getting excited. A lightsaber actually
Oh,
doing something.
Well,
This
yeah.
time it's
Just go back
destroying
one.
rock.
Ray looks fucking awesome there, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he does. He does.
Also, the pussy looks awesome as well. And there's a black
Yeah.
pussy on the left as well. Can you see the black pussy? So there's double pussy there, everybody.
Oh, wow, it's like your dreams, Brown, come true.
Ray, you look fucking awesome, mate.
Take a drink, everyone. Lightsabers destroying solid rock.
What the fuck is energized slicing?
I don't know,
I guess
but
it's
I like
true by definition. Lightsabers are energy and they are slicing, so that I guess is true by definition. But it's supposed to be describing sound, so who the fuck knows? Unfortunately, you can really tell with this scene when it's the actors fighting and when it's the stunt doubles fighting. And it's really, really obvious because they will always pan a long way away for any intricate lightsaber move. And so I don't know how much training they had. I don't know what health Ray Stevenson was in at the time. But with him in particular, there's a couple of moments where he does flourishes, which are they are obviously not him, which is a shame because when they do the close-ups like this, it's really slow and clunky and doesn't quite match up. But,
we move away from the fabulous Ray Stevenson back to the bridge.
Sorry, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, what have you forgotten?
You know where they were just looking at each other with the lightsaber?
Yeah, we're going back again, yeah.
They just stared each other out, didn't they, before they went lightsaber? It was over a minute of them just looking at a minute of them just staring each other out. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's one thing that won't come across all that well from the still slides, but in both the major lightsaber battles, yeah, it's a minute for this one. And also Sabine versus Billie Eilish had a long one as well. This is the longest one by far. They're really, really playing up the sort of the samurai influence with this, but they've gone to extreme lengths. And you're sitting there thinking, well, get the fuck on with it already.
Someone mentioned in the chat earlier on, is Filoni now just got to this godlike status where he's surrounded by yes men? Is this the problem? And he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants?
Most people on Twitter, isn't it?
Just feels like, a bit of slightly tighter editing would really help some of these episodes.
The Jedi has emerged. Sorry, I'll start again. The Jedi has engaged Lord Bayland at the henge.
Oh, so he's a lord now, is he?
It's a henge now, is it?
Lord George. Thanks, Nikki. And Don says, how boring can you make a lightsaber battle? Boring. Well.
Oh, here we go.
Very is the answer.
I like those droid designs, though. They're quite good.
How long do we receive the final coordinates?
Oh.
Moments.
In a minute.
Can somebody quantify what is moments?
Sometime today.
It's like a sarcastic answer, isn't it? It's like when you're young and you say, "Oh, Mum, what time's tea ready?" And she's like, "It's ready in a bit." It's like, what the fuck
It'll
does
be
that
ready
mean?
when it's ready.
Yes. This fucking droid giving back chats. He should have lightsabered its head off. Back to the lightsaber fight. Lots of sparks.
Crashing, folks.
Oh,
straining. I'm sorry.
Cue the next deck.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Straining.
I mean, can I scrape the battle searching for things to be positive about? The setting for this battle, I know it's very on the nose, but it's a decent setting for albeit a bit of an underwhelming lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
You've got the what I thought one of these rocks was going to start talking at one point. I thought it was Giodi, but
oh god, you stole my thunder.
Oh, sorry, Brown.
Is that one of Geode's mates or relatives?
Are you going to do the gag anyway? Okay.
I'm having to improvise a bit now.
When I watched this a second time, I noticed that a couple of the kicks that she didn't really make contact with Lord Baylan. I don't know if that was a callback to Luke in Return of the Jedi or just some bad choreography.
Or Rey in the Last Jedi.
We've got two Geodes now. She split them in two, so they're twins now.
Oh, take a drink. Effective lightsaber.
Her other one's on her belt. It's right there.
It's there. Why isn't she using
sorry.
it?
Let me go back.
Yeah. She's
Right there.
voluntarily using half of her allotted weapon set for no very good reason. Now, I don't know why she's only using one. Because I was going to say, one of the things that if there is anything to compliment about this fight scene, there's not a huge amount. The setting is okay. But they do a reasonable job, I think, of showing their different style. And Rey is obviously much stronger and more powerful, and they don't really hide away from that too much. So he does sort of beat her back with very, very powerful swings. But against that, you have her voluntarily only using one of her 2 lightsabers. So it's dumb, but at least they haven't done the generic girl boss thing. But then they're going to ruin that because she's shortly to be, quote unquote, defeated, which leads us to horror.
Yes, which is weird because Ahsoka's gone one-on-one with Darth Maul, and she pretty much held her own. She did lose the fight, but she pretty much held her own. Whereas this guy is no Darth Maul. He doesn't have the moves or anything, but she seems to not be able to hold him off all that well, which is kind of inconsistent with what we know of her beforehand.
Is this where the hottie kind of does a force move on?
Yeah, I think so. I think Dan the Ham's hit the nail on the head here, and this is
Yeah, go on.
exactly how I felt, Dan. He says, it also was boring, so I wasn't paying 100% attention. And that, in a nutshell, sums up my entire experience with Ahsoka. It's very hard to keep your attention when it's so slow, so dull, and just so fucking boring. So
What episode are we on now? We're on
4. We are honestly dragging our arse like Lizzo dragging her fat arse.
This should be probably towards the end of
You
episode
think so?
3.
Yeah.
And it'd be relatively tight for pacing. But 1 minute just staring each other out. Fucking.
Yeah. I mean, even this one, it's just so badly paced.
Doesn't she do kind of like a cheeky force punch?
Well, not a force punch. Yeah, she uses the wrist rocket. So she pretends that she's going to use the force. Billie Eilish says, "You have no power here, Gandalf the Grey." And then Sabine shoots a rocket at her and hits the lightsaber, and the lightsaber drops. And she doesn't think to pick the lightsaber up again afterwards. She just leaves.
Back to Ahsoka. They're trying to do that thing where they're
beautifully counterbalanced though from one fight to another.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do that thing. We've seen this before where you've got 2 fights going on and they cut between them, but just neither fight is particularly compelling. This one's slightly more because of the slightly weightier characters and obviously the fantastic
legacy,
Rey.
like
but
your masters, is one of death and destruction.
How does he know any of that? But fine.
Straining. That's what you were doing earlier, wasn't it, Rue? Straining.
No one knew that he...
I wasn't much of that. It came rather rapidly. Yeah.
Nameless no name in the chat. New face. Hi. Fuck this shit.
What were you going to say, Swappers?
I was just going to say, how the hell does anyone know that Anakin was Vader? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Is Nameless no name one of Mega Geek's burner accounts? Feels like something he'd say.
Nameless no name. Oh, here we go. Sorry.
So she's nicked the golden snitch.
Well, that's the Disney Star Wars character way, isn't it? To nick stuff. Thief. And it's powers down and sizzles.
Well, for some reason, it burns her hand. And then Rey will tell her that was a mistake, even though it wasn't really, because she wasn't using both hands because one of her lightsabers is still on her belt. But it has ruined the plans of the people in space because they only left 2 people to guard the most important artifact in the galaxy. And so as long as the map testicle is out of the pillar, then they can't get the coordinates. And so they're stuck up there waiting for luck to happen.
Oh, God.
Z, could you read this by Max, please?
Yes, Max Relax in the chat says, I'd rather watch an actual tampon commercial. I want to see that blue liquid be absorbed by the product. I find it more compelling.
Also, better plot, better acting, and certainly better editing.
And
so,
shorter, yeah.
Yeah, much more. Several reasons to watch a tampon advert over this.
Such
Now, is
happy
this-
women playing tennis.
Is this that previous slide? Was this the speed of the movement of Ahsoka, or are her nostrils really that lopsided?
Oh God! Don't open that can of worms.
Moving on.
Oh.
Thunder.
So this dumb bitch is now going to try and use her arm rockets or whatever, but take a drink. She's not wearing a helmet.
You'd think because it's made of Beskar and impervious to lightsabers, you'd go back and get that helmet. A very important piece of equipment.
But Darth Sexy throws a smoke bomb. That seemed to confuse
One.
her. And
Explosion.
Swappers, I feel as though someone's put some real money on the table. I think you need to take this on if you would, please.
Nicky Lillihan for £5 a dumb woman in a dumb Star Wars show. What are the odds?
It really is a toxic stream, but we love it. We absolutely love it. There's no holes barred. I'm just thinking though, Brown, we might not get invitations to Galaxy's Edge if we carry on like this.
Well, it's closed down, hasn't it?
Oh, really?
Well, the Star Cruiser has.
Oh, Star Cruiser.
Mind
Pants.
you, if it carries on like this, there won't be a Galaxy's Edge to visit. So there is always that to look forward to. The rest of it will close as well.
If there was one shot and one audio description which summed up the whole of Ahsoka, this is it, man, babies. Right
Pants.
there. Yeah, there you go.
Also, that's quite a good summation.
Quick one round the retrobates. I want everyone to give me their best frustrated sigh. Brown, go.
Well, bearing in mind that I 6 hours on and off doing these slides.
And Geordie. Swappers. See?
Meh.
Very good. You never let me down. What's this? Someone chucked a fag on some dry leaves. This is
Lightsaber. She's
It's
picking
a
up the
lightsaber.
lightsaber, yeah.
I can't see. It's all so dark. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's all dark.
And am I right that is Billie Eilish's lightsaber?
It is, yeah.
And not hers.
It is, yeah.
And which is strange because they don't do anything with this going forward because she will be captured later and paraded around in handcuffs. But I'm assuming that they just took the lightsaber back off her again. But they made a point of showing her picking it up, which made me assume that they might, use it, but they didn't.
Geordie, you're getting a bit of a dressing down from R2, who believes that yours was more of a disgusted rather than frustrated sigh.
This is true, but we've reached the point with Star Wars where disgusted is appropriate, I think.
Yeah, there's a fine line between disgusted and frustrated. I mean, okay, back to Brownie's old hag. And what's she banging on about now, Brown?
The droid is going, transmission of the coordinates has ceased at the source.
Yep, because Ahsoka's got the golden snatch.
Reach around, yeah.
Yeah.
The final calculation is incomplete.
I love that. Ahsoka's got a golden snatch.
It's like an orange gold, I believe.
Pained groan.
Oh, go on, Brown. Give us your best pained groan.
That was unwise.
That just sounds like you had a happy finish.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Pain.
Oops.
Put some pain in it, Brown. Go on, do it again. Hang on.
Who says I didn't?
Go on, Brown. Put some real pain in it. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Oh dear, oh dear.
10-hour stream approaching, everybody.
No, we're getting
Batten down the
close.
hatches.
We're getting close. So back to the lightsaber battle. This does go on quite a while, isn't it? It's really.
Yeah.
Oops. But they do pause to have whole conversations, which
Nice pussy, by the way. Straining.
Andrew thought that was
I'll do the
rather
slides.
constipated sounding.
Get the map.
We do have a compliments. Who handles compliments? Which department should compliments go to, Brown?
What would that be under? Would that be under human resources?
That's more human. That's more managing people. Compliments.
Compliments be customer
marketing.
service.
No,
customer
well,
service.
I was going to say the marketing team might like to process any compliments. As
Okay. Well, that's definitely the Lord, because he's got a bigger channel than me, so his marketing is obviously better than mine. So.
Okay, Chordy, head of marketing, here you go.
Ceteris Parabolas, I'm going to get that differently every time, for $4.99. Normally I'd have to pay for the OnlyFans for this segment. This is a bargain.
Wow. Brown, you've just made $4.99 from your strange constipation noise as well. Guess you're winning. Oh, go on. You go.
I'll do
you
the
go.
slides.
Then you can't blame me for going too slow or fast or backwards or whatever. One, everyone. Ahsoka.
Grunts.
So Billie Eilish turns up first, and so Ahsoka assumes that she has killed Sabine, which makes her angry, so she uses the Force and throws Billie Eilish into a rock at a speed which should probably have killed her, but doesn't. Only for Sabine to turn up later, and then she realizes that no, she wasn't dead. That's kind of the revelation of the entire scene. The person I thought was dead isn't dead. But given we don't know exactly what their relationship is or why they care about each other or in what way they care about each other, it's not really much of a payoff to anything, really.
Brown, who is your head of... Well, I guess it could be marketing again. Basically, I've got the most fantastic one-liner for your channel. Are you ready for it? I'd like you to read it out. Here we go.
Come on. Sixer Mason in the chat. 2 hours of tangents and jokes that fall flat.
But enough about The Last Jedi. Let's get back to Ahsoka. 2 hours is looking optimistic, if we're honest.
Thank you very much.
Well, stream's only as good as the show it covers, right?
Well, there we go.
Did we... I'm doing the...
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to get back to Ray.
Did we figure out why she wasn't using both lightsabers?
No.
I know why.
Why?
It's so she could do the hand movement thing.
Yeah, that's a prequel reference, isn't it?
With the hottie. Because if she'd have had both lightsabers going, she wouldn't have been able to do that. Convenient. Moving on. It didn't need to
great
come
face.
to this.
Great face from Ray.
But you know no other way.
Deep Brown. Go deep.
Stop.
Oh, for fuck's sake, it's Sabine, everyone.
See?
Destroy it.
Is this the payoff now from the scenes at the beginning from the 4, 5? Are you sure?
All of the very, very heavy-handed setup for the betrayal. The betrayal is about to come. She won't destroy it. She points a gun at it, but we already know she's not going to shoot the damn thing.
Yes, can we?
After you.
Can we just appreciate for a second that Sabine is going to shoot a mystical golden ball, which she knows contains an immeasurable amount of power, with a blaster, which she's holding in her bare hand.
That
he seems to have gone, but I'm sure the point was worth hearing.
I think he's shut down for the evening, hasn't he?
Secret of comedy, folks.
It is. But no, we know the betrayal is coming. I think the problem is the betrayal just isn't earned. It makes Sabine, unless you're going to go out of your way to really show why that kind of monumental betrayal is earned, and it is a monumental betrayal, given that that map allows them to re-find Thrawn and bring back, theoretically at least, the next galactic empire. That's quite some betrayal. And to justify that, which the show's tried in pieces to do by showing that in a nebulous way, Sabine and Ezra are kind of close, albeit familiarly close, as opposed to loving close. That's the thing that they are relying on to make her actions seem explicable. But unfortunately, the setup doesn't justify the massive betrayal that is her terrible life choices. So it comes across as more evidence that the character is just a shit, as opposed to, well, I can kind of understand why she might do that.
Well, Ahsoka's, well, she's
Uvik
beaten
have
here.
fallen.
She? Yeah, she's beaten. She's dead.
Did she fall off to the same place that Kylo Ren did in the Rise of Shitewalker?
God knows. I mean, for all we know, she could have fell into a pit of lightsabers and she'd have been fine.
Any answer would be better than the one we actually get, by the way.
Swappers, would you give us a bit of the old kippers on this one, please?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Nicky Lellihan for 2 English pounds. I guess Uncle Owen touched Z's special hell.
Oh, poor Z. Franco thinks this is a look at that moment, Brown, but we've not really had a look at that for about 4 weeks.
No,
have
I
we?
don't think there's no look at that at all, really. No.
Well, okay. Some people.
Pants.
Pants.
It's pants.
Yeah. It's definitely pants, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do get it. We do get a bit of dialogue now, don't we? We get what all good villains do. It's not just his brawn and his physical prowess. He's psychologically, he's quite clever and conniving, and he basically does what we all knew. He talks Sabine into doing the wrong fucking thing once more, folks. He really is absolutely useless. For the people, maybe Z or no, Z's not on.
Z's shut down for the evening.
Maybe Chordy then. I don't know about Swappers as well. Any of you guys who've watched Rebels, is Sabine this pathetic and useless in Rebels, or is this just a new thing?
Well, I have not watched much of Rebels, so I'm not in the best place to comment on that one.
Need Z then. Swappers, any insights?
She was quite adept at fighting, as I recall, and she knew how to use a kit as well, and she was quite fast and animated. But this really isn't Sabine at all.
Was that a deliberate pun, by the way? She was quite fast and animated.
Well, you could do that, for want of a better word. Yeah.
Also, didn't she create some genocidal super weapon that boiled all the Mandalorian enemies alive in their Beskar suits? Like, she was quite. I think that was her. She creates this thing that allows them to beat the Mandalorians by cooking them in their skin. So she's not exactly like completely immune to being cold-hearted and efficient and doing what needs to be done. Except that in this case, she really, really likes and cares about Ezra. So she's going to betray Ahsoka. Even though, well, the plan was always to use the map to go there, so it's a little bit morally grey either way.
Lots of the chat helping us out there saying she was actually very capable in Rebels, but definitely not in this series so far. So he's head working her, isn't he, basically? And some people suggesting in the chat there's a bit of mind trickery going on. I don't know. Maybe that gets her off the hook.
Well, the Force has a strong influence on the weak-minded. I don't think he's mind-tricking her. He's playing on what the show wants us to believe is a really, really deep-seated care for Ezra. So he's playing on her emotions as opposed to using the Force to do that. But the show hasn't really justified why that should be as successful as it is. But again, I think that's because what they really needed was a very firm and clear love interest as opposed to just, you were like a sister to me. She was friend-zoned in episode 1. And yet here she is, still willingly going around trying to sacrifice the entire future of the galaxy to get back someone who is no more or less than a vague brother.
John,
does she know that he's even alive?
No. It's just kind of baked into the cake on both sides. They both sides assume that both Thrawn and Ezra are alive somewhere out there. They don't know that, but both sides are assuming it.
John Z pretty much summing up what most people were feeling at this point. I'll just kill her and let's move on.
Yes.
But then we've been feeling that since episode 1. So,
But they should do, because she gives over the testicle, and that's the point at which they have no more use for her. So they really should kill her. Keeping her alive is only going to cause you trouble. The only reason to keep her alive is because the plot needs her later to cause that trouble. But from Big Ray's perspective, no, either leave her here or kill her, but don't take her with you, because you're just asking for your plot to be fucked up.
yeah, here we go. He's referencing Ezra. Oh,
I'll do the slides.
all right, well, keep the pace going, Brown. Some of us have got fucking work in the
know
morning.
you
I
have,
say in
mate.
the morning, I mean in about 5 hours. So basically, he's trying to get the golden snatch off her. That's what we're doing here, and he's
she just
he's
gives it.
convincing it. She just gives it, didn't he? Didn't need much asking.
I didn't see that coming, did you?
No, it's well, no and yes. I mean, she's so fucking stupid.
And his impeccable nail polish for someone who's been punching droids
Oh, yeah.
in the very recent past.
False rumbles, streams.
Choking.
Oh, yeah. We get Blondie giving it a bit of the force
Oh.
choke.
Ash shot.
There's
Ash
an
shot,
Ash shot.
everyone.
Drink.
Drink. If you've got any left, indeed.
Shin, release her. What's a rumbling crescendo? Anybody know?
Oh,
Progressively
well,
louder rumbling.
Oh, okay.
I tell you, when I went to the toilet early on, there was a bit of a rumbling crescendo. That's
Rumbling stops. Z's internet has crashed, by the way, again.
oh no, Z.
I gave my word. Panting.
Yeah, this fleshes his character out. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm scraping the barrel for positives, but just the fact the bad guy doesn't go back on his word, it does make him slightly more rounded as a character, doesn't it?
No, I completely
Really
agree.
enjoy.
Like, his behavior is interesting. It's the fact that he's teasing for so long on the backstory part that underpins the interesting behaviors in the present, which makes him a bit of a problem. So I still think there's time for them to do really interesting things with him and to pay off a lot of the stuff that they've been building up as mystery. But at some point, you do need to stop adding mystery boxes and actually open one of them.
Lord Balin has remedied the situation. Calculations are complete. Silence.
Well, I think we were all just sitting back and enjoying your line read, Brown. But look, we all want to get to the elephant in the room, and we know it's just round the corner.
Yes.
Yeah, in this scene, essentially, the rebels have arrived, they hyperspaced in, and they fly directly at the ring. They're going to try and stop the ring, but the ring will just hyperspace
Whooshing.
through them.
And the kid is still on the bridge.
Yes, he is. And it's quite lucky that he doesn't die, because at least two X-Wings get destroyed in what follows. But they decide flying straight at it is the right thing to do, and the ring is just going to ignore them completely and do its own thing.
Here's a great insight. Sixer Mason says, I want to know more about Balin and Shin, but I just don't know. But I just know this show won't deliver.
Could Balin come good in the end?
I hope not.
Oh, this is useful. Imagine this, but inside of Sabine.
Wow.
This is why she shouldn't be alive. He stabs the testicle to destroy it to make sure that nobody can follow. And lo and behold, the lightsaber goes into the testicle and it heats up really quickly, and then the testicle explodes and dies, so no one can follow them. And that is what happened to Sabine's lung. So she should be dead already.
Well, there's certain people on Twitter who are arguing otherwise and trying to provide visual evidence and medical and explanations. And good God, good help.
I would be all in favor of the people on Twitter demonstrating their theories.
Yes, that would be. Please do it and video record it for us all. So she's slapped in irons, or whatever they're called, space cuffs.
space cuffs. The ring takes off because the ring is inexplicably below the atmosphere. The ring goes back into the atmosphere. It also sends a shuttle down to pick up the people on the planet, even though it would have been quicker for them to do that before they'd gone above the cloud cover again. And they are ready to hyperspace away. Then what's her name is told that the X-Wings are coming directly at them, but she says, fuck it, ignore them, just go anyway. And off they go.
Swappers, could you do this one by our old friend Ceteris Parabolus, please?
Ceteris Parabolus for $4.99. Have we considered that Filoni is sending us to the Milky Way? Thrawn invades Earth in Star Wars Phase 4.
It's not beyond comprehension, is it? Really, the shit they're throwing at us, but God, that will be the death knell.
I think the thought did strike me last week, actually, and I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest.
Really?
I remember Rogue One.
Take a drink if you remember.
I remember.
Oh,
I remember, look.
Yeah, they like
in attack position. I remember.
Yeah, it's no longer member berries. They're just directly ripping lines out now, aren't they? And yeah.
See, I want to say, look at that.
Don't.
But I'm not going
to. It's all the clapping seal fans from Rebels. All
here we go.
Insane at this point.
They've even used the same condensed typeface. I think it's Universe.
Oh, really?
In yellow. I remember font from 1970s. I remember. See, seeing all this, any Star Wars fan, you should be buzzing seeing this. Like, fucking hell, yes, come on.
Yeah.
But I just feel so indifferent to it.
Well, you've got to care, Brown. That's kind of rule number one, isn't it?
I want to love this, everybody.
Yeah, well, you've got to care, and unfortunately, I just don't give a flying fuck about any of the female hero characters. Bad guys, well, they interest me a little bit, but anyway, back to the giant McDonald's sign in the sky, and there's our...
I was most disappointed they didn't sue one of those space whales. Devastated I was.
Yes.
I so wanted that to happen.
Was that just a red herring then?
No, they're giant space whales. They're not red herrings.
Very good. I knew you were going to do it. As soon as I said it, I knew you were going to do that.
So they're picking up the Republic craft, who are in the path of the Stargate, whatever the hell we're calling it.
One, by the way.
Which one?
Left.
And what about right?
She's a traitor.
Oh.
Ignore them.
Yeah, they really don't care that this fleet is standing in the path, do they? I thought they were going to do a holdover maneuver at one point.
Well, they kind of do, don't they? But it just goes through the middle of a big empty ring.
Yeah.
Low rumbling. Humming, increasing. Systems igniting.
God.
Engines pulsating.
I mean, honestly, if there's one thing worse than watching the show, it's watching the show when you're deaf and all you've got to go off of these descriptions.
I remember X-Wings, everybody. I remember.
Cock ring, folks.
Yeah, I remember.
Brownie, we should really try and wrap this at the 3-hour mark.
We are, mate. So,
yeah, good. Pressure's on us. But we know what we're heading towards here, folks. So they do manage to make the hyperspace jump, and it causes all kinds of havoc for our rebel fleet, doesn't it? And in fact, as Chordy said earlier, we end up losing a couple of them. Not Mum of the Year, though. Luckily, she's safe with her son.
Engines increasing.
There's the famous hyperspace, and then we get,
Loud
I don't know,
bang.
the equivalent of a backdraft or something.
How'd you
I
get a
don't
loud
know.
bang in space, in the vacuum of
Well,
space? Moving on. Quite a nice effect.
yeah, not bad. It's like an eye.
Jap's eye. Moving
I'm
on.
not touching that one. And here we go. It kind of.
Here we
What
go,
do we
folks.
make of this? It kind of wobbles the ships, doesn't it? And two of them collide, and
Yeah, well, it was a huge risk because you actually have a shot where the rebels, I say the rebels, the
I
New
remember.
Republic fighters, they voluntarily do fly in an incredibly tight formation, which you probably wouldn't do if you were attacking an enemy installation, because it makes you much easier to hit, especially if your enemies happen to have flat cannons on board. But they voluntarily bunched together in order that the ring can hyperspace without hitting them, so it goes through them. So this happened in order that stupidity be allowed to come to pass. The ring hyperspace is around them. It's also a massive risk on the part of the Imperial Remnant, because if, say, the rebels had done what they sensibly would have done and flown in a wide formation, if one of those fighters had hit the ring, which was hyperspacing toward them, the ring would have been fucked. They would have missed the hyperspace jump. They would have gone out of alignment, if not been destroyed completely, and then everyone dies. So it was a bit of a risky move from them, but only enabled by the fact the rebels, or New Republic, whatever, were voluntarily flying so tightly that the ring could envelop all of them.
And it is pants.
it is pants. Chopper doesn't get much to do, does he, in this show? You know, maybe was it last week he had a little bit to do, but he's basically just might as well throw a
Chopper
tarpaulin
chatters.
over him.
Oh, drink, everybody.
Oh, this fucker
Oh,
gets
this
to do
is
the
why
line.
he came. This is why he was on the flight deck. This is why they brought him, just for this. Or is it me?
But that could be because of anything. I've got a bad feeling. Well, okay, you just had a hyperspace ring hyperspace through you, which threw you like into a weird spin for a bit. Maybe it's just nausea from momentum shifting. But no, it's probably more like he's force attuned, and so he
Bad
manages
writing?
to speak for the meta of the show, which is that he has a bad feeling about where this is going.
Could it be bad
Probably
writing?
lost 2 babysitters as well.
Very good.
Yeah, the line is quite cringe, and the delivery is not very good. And then it lingers on her for a while, and I was expecting her to respond in some way, but she doesn't. She just looks mildly perplexed for a good long lingering shot, as the show does so well, and then we move on.
And the poor droid here looking for his master, and no one's around.
And you'd never guess where she is.
Wow.
Not in a million years.
Oh,
Oh god, this is so annoying.
Get ready. Just when you
get ready, folks.
Get ready, folks.
It's coming.
Get
it's
ready.
coming. It's coming.
Just
You
when
might
you
think
thought
that she
couldn't
fell off
get
a
any
cliff
worse.
to her death onto the jagged rocks below. But no, because it turns out if you jump off of cliffs and the plot likes you, you wake up in the world between worlds. How the fuck does this even work?
By the way, folks, if you've not seen the episode, there are spoilers.
Oh, well.
I've got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed that Lord Balin didn't get the Soul Stone after she dropped.
I mean, most people, Brownie, just don't even watch this show. They come on here and watch us kind of troll through it. But...
Did this big long gangway, have I seen that before somewhere? Was it episode 1 or was it on fucking Obi-Wan or whatever? I can't remember. I'm sure. Have I seen that before?
There's something, a Tron Legacy, I think, comes to mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, feels very Tron-y.
Is it explained how you can just suddenly appear in the world between worlds after falling off a cliff?
Well, how does Ezra make it there in the first place? It's the whales, isn't it, who take him
No,
no.
Ezra gets in there because he finds a Jedi temple with a portrait of the Mortis gods, the father, daughter, and the son. He solves a very simple rotating the discs pattern, very similar to the first episode of Ahsoka, which then transfers part of the painting onto another part of the wall. These little paintings that have transferred to the other side of the wall are all wolves, and they start running in a circle, which creates a portal that Ezra walks through.
What the fuck? Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that episode now. That sounds
That
absolutely
is exactly
insane.
what happens. Is they run in a circle, they open a portal, Ezra falls through it, he finds himself in the world between worlds.
So, without being surrounded by furries, how does Ahsoka make it into the world between worlds?
I don't know, she fell off a
Don't
cliff.
know.
I expected her skull to be split open and bits of brains falling
Get
out.
ready, folks. Get ready. It's coming. It's
Thing
coming.
is,
I go
the
full
world
screen
between
for
worlds
this.
should only be accessed by if you've got a special, combination and properties and a map, all this kind of stuff. It's like an Indiana Jones puzzle. You can't get into the world between worlds. It's incredibly difficult, but somehow Ahsoka has just fallen into it.
But this
Warm
is weird
music
because
playing.
both times she's got in there by accident. Because the last time she entered in there, it was because Ezra pulled her out of her confrontation with Darth Vader.
Mhm.
And this time she just happens to fall in it. So I've got no idea how this thing even works now.
That's another weird question as well, because Vader sees her being dragged out, doesn't he? So why does Vader not know that the world between worlds is a thing? And why doesn't the Galactic Empire explore that concept during the era of the original trilogy? So where does the world between worlds go in the time when,
it goes to all different spaces and times. So you can see what was, what is to be, and what could be.
absolute fucking
If you watch
bullshit.
the World Between Worlds episode, Palpatine makes an appearance in there, and it's just as cringe as you think it is.
It is indeed.
Oh, but look who it is. It's old
Look at this,
decrepit
folks.
version of Anakin.
I remember.
I remember.
Hey, what happened to the scar above your right eye?
I've got a question. Why does this look so fucking shit? Is my question.
Yeah, the de-aging. Well, on the still version, it's not as bad, but in the flesh, he does not look as de-aged as he looks in this one particular shot. It's not very effective de-aging.
No, it's like a PlayStation 4 cutscene, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't have just. I mean, Hayden still is in reasonably good nick for his age.
I don't know. Facially, he is looking his age quite a lot.
He is, but did they have to go with this full? It doesn't look anything like him, if I'm honest, at all. I mean, it's gone too far. Just what the fuck? It's awful. I'm interested to know if anyone in the chat got them in the feels. I mean, I'm trying to think if we compare this to when Luke appeared in Mando. I believe it was the end of Mando season 2. Am I right? I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there did seem to be a generally positive reaction to that. It felt like it was authentic, and we got a glimpse of Jedi Master Luke and the CGI facial de-aging, blah blah blah.
And even those episodes of the Book of Boba Fett when he appears as well still had. They weren't very good episodes, but it still had something like an effect on the audience, I think. Because I remember at the time a lot of people saying that the show is absolute shit, but actually it really impacted me a lot seeing Luke Skywalker in a manner like that we kind of imagined him to be, as opposed to what The Last Jedi gave us. And it was elevated by comparison. I think the proper comparison for this one though is probably the de-aging Anakin in the Kenobi show, which is this is the idea is there. They still think that there's an immense amount of love for this particular character, despite the flaws of the prequels. We've de-aged them, and here is Anakin and Obi-Wan together again. Maybe if that had worked in the context of the Obi-Wan show, this would have worked better just by remove, but that did not work very well, and this does not either. It's gone beyond, this is a real pleasant surprise to see him, and it's become, they're doing that again in a desperate bid to capture some sort of audience that is just not there for our own material.
Cue the Vader theme. And that's a wrap. I'll leave it as we do our close. I'll leave it on this absolutely awful CGI recreation of Anakin. We got there in the end, man, babies. It's gone 1:30 a.m. in the morning here in Blighty. We're approaching the 3-hour mark. Let's go around the retrobates. We need closing thoughts and score for this episode. Brown, let's start with you.
Okay. I think the episode was slightly better than what we've had. Still far too many just looking at each other for a minute and doing nothing. Member berries, blah blah blah, all that shit. Do we care? I don't care really. I want it to be good. Blah blah blah. I've got nothing to say other than it was a pain doing the slides. That was it. I'm gonna give it. It still looks good. The production guys are still doing great. I'm gonna give it. I'm just gonna sit on the fence, folks. 5.
Let's go for a 5. Okay, fair enough. Swappers, did you get a chance to see it in its entirety, or is this your experience of it? Either way, you can maybe give us some thoughts and feelings.
I'm glad I never watched this fucking show. Although I kind of watched it by proxy through you guys, and I can pretty much get the gist of everything in it. Yeah, pants out of 10 is pretty much quite an accurate affirmation of this attempt at Star Wars. I mean, there's some good effects in it. Ray Stevenson's worth all the points.
Yeah, brilliant, Stevenson. Yeah,
but it's just
it's
just seriously tepid, amateurish televisual filmmaking, isn't it? There's nothing really to redeem it whatsoever, in my opinion. So I'd give it about maybe a 3.
Not according to Star Wars theory, best since Lucas.
He absolutely made a fucking fool of himself if he's being serious.
Yeah.
Thank you, Swappers. Poor Z is just really fallen by the way, so we'll maybe find out another time. But I'll just do mine very briefly, and then we'll finish on the Lord.
Z's there, isn't he?
Oh, Z's back. Oh, Z, I didn't know you were back.
I've actually said quite a bit, but obviously, you've just not noticed me.
I'm
mesmerized.
You made Bunny cry.
Sorry, Z. Please, Z, take it away. Your thoughts and scores. I thought your internet had.
It did twice. I've come back every time.
Oh, in all honesty, I'm looking at the channel. Everyone looks like Ahsoka. Everyone's got these fucking pat on the head things. Everyone looks like Ahsoka. I can't tell who's who.
No, like if only like StreamYards they let you put your name next to your profile picture or something, just to let us know who's here and who isn't.
Well, I can't.
Don't be facetious.
It's honestly the text size. It's smaller than even Brown can come up with. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Z, my apologies. Take it away, Z. Your closing thoughts, your score. What do you think?
Well, just when you think it can't get any stupider, Dave Filoni pops his cowboy hat up and says, "Yes, it can." So this just goes worse and worse from week to week. I'm left speechless at the end of it. I can't believe what I've just watched. This guy's written some of the most excellent cartoon animated Star Wars ever. There are some classics in various different seasons across both Rebels and the Clone Wars that I'll go back and watch again and again. But he cannot write television, and he should stop. I will pay people to hunt him down and cut his hands off or something. Dave Filoni must be stopped. Please, somebody do that for me.
Absolutely.
4 out of 10.
Absolutely.
Savage.
Well, if you think that was savage, previous weeks I've been mildly amused when I shouldn't have been. I've been, slightly miffed, largely disappointed. This week I was fucking pissed off. Honestly, and I'm pissed. What pisses me off more is that the people who are raving about this, whether Star Wars Theory is trolling or not, I don't know. I'm hearing it secondhand, but I genuinely have read people who are raving about this. It is fucking dire. It's 40 minutes, which feels like 10 minutes extended by 40.
57 minutes next week.
No lightsaber battle, no matter how bad, should be boring. This had 2 boring lightsaber battles. It's got heroines I don't give a shit about. I'm actively rooting for them to die, and apart from the Ray, no pun intended, of shining light, Ray Stevenson, honestly, it was fucking tedious, badly written, cack-handed. I'm going 1. I'm going a 1. Fuck this show. Over to you,
And-
Geordie.
No, I can top that one. But well, I think from memory, I gave episodes 1 and 2 3 out of 10. I gave episode 3 a 4 out of 10 because nothing happens. And the rule of Ahsoka is that when nothing happens, it's better than when stuff happens. Because when stuff happens, it's almost invariably contrived bullshit. With this one, lots of stuff happens. And that means that it's not as good as the episode where nothing happens. So I can't give it a 4. I think more happens than the
What?
episodes in which
Is
I
that
gave
double,
it a 3.
double negative.
Possibly,
Or am I-
yes.
or
No,
am I
there is a
confused?
logic. There's a logic.
There is an
Confused.
internal logic to this. The more stuff happens, the worse it gets, is the general rule. So with this one, a lot of stuff happens. And the payoffs that we're starting to get are worse than I was expecting. A lot of the characters I began by liking just because of their premise, like Big Ray, he's becoming more annoying because now it's the time we need to start learning about you, and we're not yet. There is a number of times in this episode where all the main characters should have died already. There's probably at least 2, if not 3 occasions where every one of our protagonists should be dead. And I think that the top count for the last several episodes has been maybe 2 counts where they should be dead. So all that taken together, I'm probably going to have to give this one a 2 as opposed to a 3 or a 4. But I'm sure there is worse
Shit.
left to come. I might even regret starting off by saying 3 because I need more numbers below 3 to
The
account for the
worst
later
is yet to
episodes.
come, isn't it? Yeah.
I suspect so, because every time
Yeah.
it pays off anything, every time everything it leads up to is shit. And I probably would have given this a 3 or even a 4 had it not then gone for the world between worlds bullshit. Because that is so broken and it will break so much, and I dread where it's going to go. It's a tragedy because I really like a lot of the characters involved in it. I think Thrawn has immense potential. Ezra has potential. A lot of the old Clone Wars and Rebels characters had potential before this show started, but then the show started and now they don't. So yeah, 2 is probably where I'm going.
2. We are on if you were to average all these out, we are definitely on a downward curve, it feels. Well, that's it, folks. It's a wrap. It was an amazing 3 hours we eked out of this, but what
Unbelievable.
fun we've had. And I have to say, fabulous efforts by all my retrobates, and we'll
Thank you,
thank them all
chat.
individually. But thank you, chat. You have been
Sticking
top
with
quality.
us. Yeah.
Maybe the best performance of the chat out of all the Ahsoka
Well,
episodes so far.
3 hours, 6 minutes.
Yeah,
Well done,
wow.
boys and girls.
Brilliant stuff. I think sadly we are going to be back next week. We are going to stick with this.
57-minute episode.
Yeah.
There's only 4 more to go.
Yeah. Buckle
We're
in, man,
halfway there.
babies. So a quick thank you to all our retro baits. Thank you to Ahsoka, and Ahsoka. Let's go full screen. So thank you to our old friend Z. We dropped out, Z, but we're glad to have you back. Thank you, Z.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to go through these increasingly worse efforts at television. It's terrible, terrible stuff.
Really is. Thank you, Kippers. You managed to make it on. We're good to have you.
Thank you, Ruin. Yes, this show is wrong in a great many ways.
I'm waiting for the laugh. It didn't come. Even Darth Kippers can't muster a laugh now. He's really killed them off. Thank you to our friend. It really is. You can. I love the thought you give to your scoring, Platoon. You never want to contradict yourself or break your scoring mechanism, but for you to give it a 2 is rather damning. So thank you, Platoon. You've been great.
Thank you as ever.
And over to you. Sign us out, Brown.
Cheers, Ruin. Great job. I feel you'll be going straight to bed now.
I am absolutely. I'm
You're doing a great
fucked.
job, mate. I know.
But I'll
That's
be
it, yeah.
back. Back for more Ahsoka next week. You never know, man, babies. They might fucking chop a stupid head off. We'll have cut that fucking cat in half. You never know. Maybe if we pray
That's
hard
it,
enough.
folks.
Until next week, man, babies. May the force be with you.
Timing. timing.